virtual. Nice. Are doing virtual.
Sorry, I posted it on Facebook, on the Morgan Hill Summers Facebook.
Are doing virtual convention booths.
If anyone wants to,
like Emerald City Comic Con.
Oh, nice.
Try it.
Bailed, so.
That looks good, but I am very full.
So
right
basically, they're doing like an OG webnet or whatever that would do. What was it even called back in the day?
Yes. Don't get ham on the rolls because you're a hamburger bun.
Was it a Usenet? Say hello, Internet.
Hello, Internet.
Where it was basically like
Lisa?
the little link box at the bottom. Was it a Usenet?
Yeah, it is like old message boards, basically.
Sorry.
Yeah, careful. Yeah, that's all I was like.
I know, it's just like here.
Pretty awesome.
One
One of our friends in DC does like DJing gig with one of his buddies, and do virtual sets.
Totes.
See if I can pretend to cook.
They're like, there's a lot of folks in that scene who are
easier than
basically
bacon, so I think I can do
struggling to pay rent right now.
Yeah? I do okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Because they can't
I'm
go to
very
their
proud of
day
you.
job.
Can basically
Thank
do
you.
their job.
Achoo.
Because the law is like, don't have
Ah,
people in one room.
Did you use the little ninja I left you?
No, I forgot about it.
She didn't have me pull that down.
No, I completely forgot about it up until I forgot that we had a bigger crock pot. I was like, we only have the little one. I was like, we have a big ass fucking crock pot. So
I kept mine, right?
I think so. Unless you left me that big ass fucking one.
Unless that's the one.
I don't remember. I thought you left us the little one.
No, the little one was yours. The
Okay,
red
then,
one?
Yeah.
That was yours.
Okay. Are you missing a crock
I
pot?
have two giant ones at home, so
Okay.
it doesn't matter either way.
Did you get your bowl?
Yes, it's in my bag.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she made note of it.
I noticed it the moment I walked in. I have a...
I never cook. My idea of cooking is scrambling an egg. This is a big feat for me.
I think it's
look at
great.
that.
But yeah, someone at work was like, "Oh no, this is gonna kill the games." I was like, "No, here's a cheat sheet for the things I need you to have for us to play." This one was like new toys, and so she's very hyped on that. And,
I bought a black and gold Blue Yeti.
and we are currently
Just to go with the
and
settings.
we are currently
Nice.
both struggling.
Because it exists.
We're both currently struggling on where to record and how to lay out our backdrop. Right?
Don't fucking so stage.
It's so good. Anyway, cool. Yeah, we hot. We're
So
live.
what happened
It's
last
sexy.
time I wasn't here?
Oh, during the vampires?
We
during...
We didn't play.
I don't think we
Yeah,
played
I
last
don't
time.
think we did.
Oh, you guys didn't end up
Because
playing?
Matt and I were in Ohio. And
Oh, yeah.
I know, but I thought you guys were going to Skype.
We just
We were going to.
Oh, okay.
No,
It
we
didn't
called
happen.
it. I
Well,
tried
then never mind.
Yeah, I ended up calling it.
2 weekends in a row. I tried to buy Terraforming Mars for her, and they were out.
Yeah.
So the one time we just kvetched,
Yeah, it was just the two of us.
and then the second time we played Dominion Maids,
Yes.
and that
Yeah, we
was-
didn't end up playing.
I think that was the same time. Yeah, Sally and I showed up, and then we played Maids, and then for the first couple turns, we were like, "Holy shit! I think we haven't played this since like 2013."
These people have been born and died in the time.
Because
that-
we haven't played it since you guys were back in her
Right?
parent, in
Yeah, that's it.
parents' house.
Yeah.
So it took us a little bit to get the hang
You want a bite?
back.
I don't want to give you... I don't want cooties. We live in a time of
She's trying to
coronavirus. I'm
be-
That's right.
I'm trying
They're
to follow the
they're
CDC
too good,
guidelines.
Lisa. You can't even.
I think that's great.
Come on, we're all here. We're not following the CDC guidelines.
It's true.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah,
Sorry.
see, I had a hunch.
There's only
and
6 of us. 6.
I believe me.
Where else?
Andrew Zimmer, that bad boy.
It has to be
It's the
surrounded
6
by
feet
people
apart.
that aren't.
Sorry, Rabbit. What was that?
I thought it was just like, don't go the
So
fuck
we camped
outside.
this weekend and went to a few game stores, and there
I'll
were
let you through the
still
cardamom.
many D&D sessions in progress. I
Like,
was
first bite I got sugar, and then...
living dangerously.
That was why I
The
felt
first
the.
bite I got
the
a lot
Instagram
I got
post
the
was
rose
potent
and the
for today,
pistachios
so-
because I had it upside down. The
The crack
cardamom
is
part is
real.
fine. I like cardamom. It's just the...
The rose? Is it the rose or the pistachio? You don't like either, right?
I don't like
You're
either.
like, I will
Oh.
risk my health for this hobby.
Although while I was looking at other examples of that meme,
I like both.
there was a great one that was like respecting the human decency of the underpaid service worker, and then over the dude's face it was just the Karen photo, and I was like, oh, savage, so good. Anyway, stuff and things. You okay? Okay.
I actually had to pee when I first got here, but you were cleaning the bathroom, so I sat down and I'm like, I still have to go.
Oh, I didn't clean anything. I was just
You
refilling
were just
the-
in it.
Yeah, I was just preventing you. Aha! My brilliant plan. Aha!
P-locked.
Yeah. I was thinking of something else. Video games. Bad things in your mouth. Corona. It's all gone. Oh yeah, rabbit. I think when you talk, you need to just go and then when you hear it get quiet, then start talking.
Okay.
You know, like when you're on like vent or something, there's a little noise that signals to every. Okay, the giggle made me know you know what I'm talking about. All right, good.
People still use that?
Vent?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't used it in a while. Ventrilo was is
People
basically
say
like
MMOs
a
use it.
basically like
that would be why.
were you ever on IRC?
Me? Oh.
What does that mean?
You know I was on IRC.
IRC or AOL chat?
IRC, Internet
Like AIM?
Relay Chat.
Yeah, I used AIM.
Okay, so Ventrilo is basically like voice aim. So a lot of people used it for like video game raids and stuff to before there was Xbox Live, before there was Discord, before there was
It's like voice coordination.
Mhm.
You didn't have to type all your shit.
Yeah, because
Use
you would
precious
be
seconds.
using some DPS and stuff. If you
Mhm.
did that.
When your dude was not kiting properly.
Oh my god.
had to be
Right,
able to
Jenkins?
scream 50 DKP minus. Oh, it's fucking Leroy.
And all the whelps?
Many whelps handle it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no fucking aggro reset button.
We're on a boat!
Are we?
Yes!
Are we
Yeah.
actually on the
Proud to be
boat?
on a boat.
Well, we're about to be on the boat.
You
We-
bored?
Yeah,
Boarding a
because we
boat.
found my friends,
Yeah.
and they have boat.
The way
We on
my
a
hair
boat.
curls right here.
Yeah,
It's like Farrah Fawcett fucking hair, because it's just like...
my bangs. If I leave them alone for too long, the whole thing does the.
Yeah. Sorry, it's fine.
Sanity's ass.
Just look at myself in the mirror. It's just wet enough outside that my hair went... So like, it's just fluffing.
That girl in that Glad Racket post, she had them tight angle bangs. I was like, girl, so good.
Did you get the message I sent you?
Yes, and I'm like, I don't know why you need to convince me of anything. I'm like, I don't know why you didn't just buy that dress already. And you should
We should buy
I'm
a
gonna
drink.
refill
mean-
my tea. Go ahead, start this.
think about the
So
shirts.
what happens on this boat?
We
Are
don't
we
need more
actually
shirts.
physically on the boat?
Not yet.
You're about to board
Okay.
a boat.
So we packed and stuff.
Yes. You're going to take care of whatever business.
I
Right.
mean, the last thing I wrote was basically this is what I need to tell my people to do, so I assume I did that already.
Yeah, we did that the last session.
Yeah.
This is why I'm
You
not-
Yeah.
passed your instructions to.
So I mean, that and getting my few possessions.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Um,
was the end of last time. Was us going back to like get ready to go get.
Think
on
about my
the
bindle. No, I'm just kidding.
boat.
So, take note of the items you bring.
Really?
And your people count as items.
What? We have to
So-
actually track stuff? Oh, what?
I mean, I've always pretty much carried everything in my pack.
Yeah,
Like-
well, that's you.
Like you were like, lol, bindle, and I'm like, you mean the backpack I've been wearing in every combat?
The only thing I've got under my equipment are the prophet sword cloak and pin I have, the carrying clothes pin, 3 more prophet cloaks. I've lots of cloaks. And a
Yep.
shawl, which
Are you
is
bringing all of those?
no.
She's over there playing fucking Skyrim,
Yeah.
playing Oblivion. I
That's
gotta
right.
rearrange those so
It's
they
in
fit
fucking VR now.
You gotta
Wear
rearrange-
this clook.
You gotta rearrange them so that they fit in the slots. You're optimizing your bag space.
Do I need to be all like, okay, exactly how many outfits I have because I can do that.
I know you will.
I would
doesn't
bring the
matter what I
pins.
say.
We might need the pins. To be like, yo,
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I was gonna bring the carrying crew one anyway, so okay, there's that. And my shawl that I got from my former teacher / boss.
You are fucking playing Skyrim.
Me?
It's like I got 3 cloaks, this spare boot, this cheese wheel.
Well, I didn't write any other stuff I had because I didn't think I
gathering
That was
NPCs and
my
naming them all Jose.
I have this.
Oh, it was
this-
her crock.
Like I said, I have 2 giant ones at home, so.
Wait, no, okay.
So my mom
Okay.
left me.
I've
I
got,
have
I've got
this
the
bronze
220
cup that I picked off a table and then
Thank
got
you.
thrown in jail for. I didn't mean to steal it, but I just grabbed it because it was there.
Mm-hmm. And then for some reason that triggered the NPCs to be like,
I
"You're
like to use
stealing."
cardamom.
You
See?
fucking
I've
thief.
got
I'm the same thing. I don't taste the
I
rose at
got my
all.
knitting needles. I've got
It's
my
just sugar and then cardamom.
daggers. Probably
I
brought
believe you.
projects.
I feel like if I hadn't
I'm on
told
a
you about
boat.
rose, you would have never tasted
Did
it.
you
You brought
No, but
your
then I
2
knew it was
units.
there, so then I tasted it.
Oh heck yeah!
Okay.
I
They're
installed
coming
those
with
like
you.
in my inventory.
That's right.
Tell me the rose at all.
One on each
I'm gonna be very
side.
gentle with the rose.
Did you see the video of the guy that paralyzed every NPC in Skyrim?
What?
Yeah.
No.
It was longer than I thought it was going to be.
You should just
That's
fast
what
forward
that's
to
what she
this
said.
side.
Thank you, ladies.
This guy I follow replayed Oblivion. There's been like a rescale mod, I guess, like that played, and like he kept being like, I'm role playing and I'm fucking up everybody's meal. Like that's my character's thing. He's like, I'm putting my fingers in your soup because like every single time somebody's eating, he just grabs their plate and they start fucking freaking out. He just like drops it down. It's like, I just put my finger in your fucking plate right here. What are you gonna do about it? Oh, he called the cops! And he just like fucking runs out.
That's fantastic. Speaking of video games, you guys better watch out. I don't know if you saw the interaction we had with a fellow streaming DM on Instagram.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, anyway, I took pictures of all my Zelda notes. I was like, yeah, it's all Pathfinder, but I don't know if it'd be that hard to convert it to 5e.
It is.
So,
What they know?
plus being stuck at home listening to video game soundtracks all day,
Yeah.
the Zelda stuff keeps coming up, and I'm like, maybe I should just play the Zeldas again, because I'll just play the Zeldas again, because I can never be bored playing Zelda.
Never.
And I told JC, I was like, JC, you need to play Zelda, so I don't have to play Zelda again, but still watch you play
Apparently
Zelda.
I've got time now.
Yeah. But dude, someone did a.
How long is this trip supposed to be? Sorry.
Oh. Yeah,
I'm
no,
still
no,
thinking
no,
about
no,
this.
no.
It will
I
be.
mean, heaven forbid,
It's gonna be at least a couple months.
Yeah. It'll be weeks.
because we got to go
months.
around Fantasy Spain,
We
and
gotta
then
go to
over
Italy.
Fantasy France.
Yep. You gotta land.
Okay. I'm gonna
Over
work for you.
fancy friend.
You gotta land in
Fantasy
southern Montaigne and then cross into Iceland. From
Oh,
there.
we're landing. So we're hitting Fantasy Normandy, and
Yep.
crossing over the Fantasy Rhine.
Yep.
Ah.
Well, it's
More or
more, I
less.
think that we're hitting fantasy like Marseille.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Southern France.
Yeah.
Get good at that sing-song accent.
Oh, we're going. Okay.
Because the
Oh yeah, because the countries are flipped.
yeah,
Gotcha.
because France is here and Castilla is below it
Mhm.
with
Yep.
Valdace next to it over here.
Yep.
It's not shaped like Europe.
Yeah.
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 The general positions are similar, but it's not.
Yeah.
So things are not exactly where you'd expect them to be.
I mean, heaven. If there was only a map,
There
only
is.
a huge fucking map
That we
that I
could
could look at. No, look at it.
Yeah, because we're here,
Yeah.
so we're going here.
Yeah, that's
so we can
fucking.
get
That's
it.
fucking Barcelona.
Yep.
Barcelona, Aragon.
Well, but that's France. This is Spain.
Well, I know if it was
Yeah.
real life Spain.
It'd be a
thing.
up in fucking Catalonia. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, like 3 months,
Yep.
As the crow flies,
so to speak. We know some of them.
unladen sparrow.
Are they carrying a coconut by the husk? Oh yeah, someone made an album called The Sins of Hyrule, and I was like, that's such a fucking metal name.
I mean,
so
yeah.
good. But yeah. Anyway, so who knows? Who knows anything?
I'm almost done with my list.
Yeah, Rethold's like got his shirt off already,
Getting ready.
and is like, he's like show him where his footlocker is. in his hammock. And Jose Jr. will sleep at the foot like the good dog he is.
Yep. So, of your people, let me know if anybody else
Of my people.
is
What do you mean you were?
So I'm like, I don't have
along.
any people. That's all Rethold.
Well, yeah.
I'd say Carlos is my person, but
Yeah.
he's definitely coming.
You have Veronica for sure.
Oh well,
She's
well
gonna be there.
obviously she's also fucking coming.
And then Ricardo.
Oh,
And that
Ricardo.
would be sad. We get halfway there. We're like, damn, forgot Veronica. Shit.
Right. Turn back.
Right back.
Well, that's what the thing where it's like, oh right, I forgot the thing that was the reason I did this.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, no. Obviously we brought Veronica.
Yep.
And Ricardo is technically my person, so he's definitely coming too. He's my contact for the death dude.
I guess Amondine is technically my property now.
Yeah.
And Josecito Perito.
Very good dog.
Yep.
He's a good dog. He's a good boy, Bron.
So yes, Oscar and Emil, Veronica, Ricardo, Jose Jr., Amandine, and Joselito. Bring a small village on this boat.
Who's
on this
Amandine?
boat.
She's the
Oh, she's the-
girl-
gotcha.
she's the
So are we going to have to
She's the
track
new
our
Jose.
rations up?
No.
She's our Josefina.
You're going aboard a proper ship.
It's a real ship.
Sorry, I'm just being a jerk.
Pirate.
Do it.
List.
The ship has cannons. It's about
Yes.
to set sail.
Oh yeah. No, it's not a pirate ship.
Wink.
Right.
Oh, I would never.
It's a privateer ship.
Yeah, those are totally different.
Glasses.
Oh, I shouldn't look at your nose.
No,
Cheater.
they're decked like a
I think that's what I brought.
They're decked like a teenager playing Oregon Trail. There's a lot of gunpowder and steel weapons and
Sorry.
lots of rations.
We're gonna fucking fight our way up there.
And yeah, the crew is in good spirits as you're approaching the boat. It is very early morning. Getting ready to set sail. Ethel,
I keep going.
without sure that.
Lefeld is very happy.
Yes. That crew knows what they're doing. Rethel, you even without rolling, like you can see it's operating like clockwork. As you approach, Ernesto is near the board plank, sort of directing a few of the folks, like carrying some supplies inside, and he's holding what looks like a long cigarillo, just, basically like very not barking. He's commanding, but never above. His voice is never raises above conversational level.
Mm-hmm.
Seems very relaxed in that environment and seems to be enjoying himself quite a bit. And the moment he sees all of you, he just waves and sort of directs you to come on board.
Who's the bosun?
The ship bosun was that lady you met in the bar.
Natasha.
Oh, she's the Asuri.
Wait, no, never mind. She's the purser.
Okay.
You haven't met the bosun yet.
Oh, okay. I mean, you probably.
If
know.
you can actually spot her, like if you roll me your sailing here.
You finally use all those dots.
Is that wits?
Oh, I don't.
Wits.
Yep, wits.
Sail. This is a whale. B-52s. I almost forgot what game this was. Yeah.
That's right.
We were like, what's the difficult?
Yeah, right.
Always, every time. Roll
Just makes me
initiative.
think of that poor cat.
Roll
Can't make the jump.
initiative. It's a trap. It doesn't exist.
I'm only gonna roll one. Cool, that was that. Okay. Yeah, three. But yeah, that's enough to know who the hell's in charge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You hear what is unmistakably a Highlander accent coming from this
Oh,
lady up top.
a brogue that
Oh yeah.
that nobody can decipher
It is
Yeah.
thick.
with two C's. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
with two R's.
Just fiery red hair, like just braided into two braids, thick as rope, and just nice freckled face. She's not that tall, like she's about like 5'6", 5'7", but that lady's got shoulders. Like she's broad. It's like it probably can carry some of these barrels. And
I tell Jose Jr., she could hold the sail and do the rigging. Well done.
Jose's like, yes.
If you don't know what that means by the time we land, I'll have failed you.
I don't know what that means.
You might not still know what that means by the time we
I
land,
mean,
but
I know what it means on the ship, but I don't know what you mean.
oh no, in this case, that's absolutely what I meant. There was no innuendo there.
Oh, okay.
No. If she's the bosun, she can have whatever out-uendo she wants. No pretenses. I'm like, what's the opposite of in out-uendo? Yeah, no, I'm going for it. I don't give a shit. Yeah, right?
It sounds like out the window.
It's like shoot
Is
the
it
door.
administration?
I was gonna say, which is something
Right.
we're good
And
at.
for us, that's very sexy. So
Mhm.
Ernesto is basically like uses like the smoke from
his dainty ass
his
cigarette.
dingy ass cigarette is just like wafting in. He's like, "You got a good night, I hope."
Slept horrible. Waiting for today.
Well,
I'm looking at this ship like a 16-year-old on prom night, just like, oh, it's gonna be good.
you actually see the lady you spotted earlier coming in. She wipes her hand on the leather apron and sort of comes down the gangplank. She's like, "Ernesto, get your ass in!"
And if there's no like pause or preamble, I basically am like, Hergerson, what did I name him? Mendez. I basically name off whoever's last name, who I feel vaguely in charge of.
Right.
And just give her that info because she will tell me where I need to go next and what we're doing.
She has a boy with her, like probably not older than 12 or 13, basically like writing stuff for her. Like as you rattle the name, like she's only just points to the boy and he's just putting names down. She actually extend a hand, big smiling face.
Oh yeah, that go in for it. And I'm like, that's you gotta see what they're working with.
And she says, "Connie McClelland, ship bosun. Pleasure to meet you all. I didn't quite catch everybody's names."
I'm Marilena. Nice to meet you.
You know, like pops out in the back, like, hola!
You know me.
And so when they don't give their last name, I give the last name. I'm like,
Yep.
What's your last? It's like,
Giovanni.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm Marlena, like,
every time 'cause it's
Giverno.
like,
And then she's
Yep.
like, hello, I'm Jimena. And I'm like,
Shoot, you don't need to tell
oh
them
yeah,
my
no,
last
she,
name.
yeah,
They already know me.
I
Yeah.
skipped that one.
yeah.
Although you might know to give your
My
last name.
last name.
Yeah, of course I would
got
give my
his
last
own.
name, but
I actually am legit
Yeah.
reluctant to give mine, and it's
Yvonne,
you have to.
You're already on the
Yeah.
boat.
Yep.
Do you make up one?
You're in the rigging.
She's up in the crow's nest already.
She's already
Right.
like repairing a rope, like
Yep.
slackers.
Did Yvonne introduce herself?
No, and immediately, like, Connie is like,
OT.
"Not one of yours?"
Kinda.
You know,
You don't really own crap.
You know how? Yeah, no, that's kind of where I was at. I was like, you know how sometimes a seagull will take a liking to a ship, and it becomes the mascot for the ship. It's like that, but really useful, excessively useful.
And doesn't poop on things.
That we know of.
That we know of.
Hey.
You know.
It's somebody else that poops on the
Allegedly,
Yes.
allegedly.
I've been blaming it on Xavier forever.
Only one of us has had an accident like that. And it was entirely intentional. So I called a 0 on that one.
You have a name for your seagull?
Supposedly Yvonne.
That's all we
Her
have.
last name is Healy. Now my iPad
Yep.
is finally charged enough.
But you wouldn't have given that to us, would you?
I think I said it
I
at some
feel
point.
like it's
Like,
come up.
Yeah.
It's come up.
Okay, then I'm like, that is hello,
Haley.
Healy.
You see her face and it's like, oh.
What is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, she's from they're from somewhere near you.
Sister Kingdom? Yeah.
I don't know if as close as ours do.
Ha! She finishes recording pretty much everybody. Jose Jr. does introduce himself as Jose Mendez Jr. to your amusement.
Oh, I was joking about the junior, but I guess if we're leaning into it, all right.
Oh, he took your jokes for seriousness.
Yeah,
he
he
did.
He does
He's-
what you tell him.
That was supposed to be out of character junior, but it's in character junior now. All right.
Which is funny because you call yourself Juan Mendez, so like who's he the junior of?
No, right.
Yeah. He would not presume to the title of Jose Mendez.
Yeah. No.
So-
That is a title that is only yours to bestow.
No, that's accurate. But yeah,
Because that would be the Alpha Jose.
And then
Oh my gosh.
I'd nudge him and be like, "You see that kid writing down names? Maybe you'll get there." That's the rank we're working for.
Wow.
He
And hi.
actually looks at the kid and gives him a little bit of the side eye.
Size him up.
Bitch!
That kid is not
Someone's getting thrown over.
does not take that lying down. Like kid is like writing and he's like
That's right.
Hey.
he's wearing a good like hoop earring.
He's got his.
Come at me, bro. You want to throw down? This is my deck.
Is there gonna be some sort of like scribe battle or something?
What you young loco? Absolutely. So yeah, he writes everybody down, and Amandine actually struggles a little bit when it's time for her to give a last name.
Mendez.
She sort of looks around, and then as somebody jumps in and says Mendez, she just repeats it. Mendez. Yeah.
Your family's getting so big now.
I mean, I don't know why that's weird to you.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, our yeah, no, yeah.
There's nothing weird about this at all. I'm proud.
Well, yeah, you know. Hopefully, we won't have to disown anyone. Because out on the sea, if you disown someone, you
There's
better hope
only
they
one
can swim
place to
real
throw
well.
them.
Yeah.
Oscar and Emil are traveling light. Linen shirts, sturdy pants, good boots. They're
going to
wearing
be
belt
cold.
swords.
Oh, no, I'm sure it's in their pack for when they land.
Yep. No,
It's
they
an
have
ocean?
their swords with them.
I mean, I don't even have
but,
mine on yet.
you know,
Or
it's in their
anymore.
packs.
I'm like,
You're different.
it's fucking balmy out here.
I'm sorry, I'm just
Oh, yeah.
thinking about
40
the
degrees.
packs and I'm just being bad. Okay.
Well, they're very visible.
Yeah.
Oh
These
my.
pens,
Bulging, so to speak.
these pens live very little to the imagination.
Oh. I am married.
Someone has to make
Turns.
some pants that fit properly.
It's like, oh honey, they fit properly.
You can't fight in those; they'll tear.
Oh no, they'll fight. There's plenty of fighting
It's like,
going on.
one can only hope.
If it tears, like that's an intimidation maneuver, right?
Right?
Oh no, he lunged.
That's right.
Now poke my eye out.
Call me out on it. I dare you.
That's right.
Look upon my dangle.
Oh,
The
my.
dingle dangle.
Oh, he mullinade.
Genya takes
I know that feint.
Veronica somewhere else.
I see you two are a gentleman of
Here,
taste.
like
That's
Trevor's ears.
That's a Montaigne feint. They call it the botte de Nevers.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
That's a real thing. It doesn't pertain to this.
it does now.
I think you're killing
She
Megan.
chose
Probably
down.
stop.
She chose down.
But yes, there is overall a very good atmosphere on the boat. Jimena, you get lifted off your feet multiple times by crew members, just super stoked to see you again. After a bit, the bosun basically is showing you like this is going to be your part of crew's quarters. Unfortunately, we couldn't give you a spot only with your crew. I mean, close, because you have a pretty big group. But a few of our people are also going to be quartered down there. Specifically, Jorge and our crew surgeon is quartered in the same area as you guys.
So honestly, the only thing I would protest is being bunking with another man because it's so inappropriate.
Well, I think
Well, you're all quartered together with your people.
didn't the package get a
Yes.
closet?
She has special accommodations,
And then
and you, Genya, can also opt to sleep in those quarters as well with Veronica.
Of course.
You have a bunk with the rest of the crew that is basically dedicated to you. So they're like, we didn't want to presume which arrangement we wanted to pick. So you have both options available. As you come on board,
I mean, normally she would want to sleep with the crew, but she's not going to leave Veronica by herself.
no, yeah,
That's
she has
right.
a special
So-
charge.
yeah.
the captain eventually comes down. Jimena, you get another big hug from the captain. It's like, I almost can't believe my eyes. It's so good to have you back on board here. We left your bunk as you left it.
Oh.
It's
Jorge
filthy.
saw to it,
Yeah.
actually.
There's still
Full of crumbs.
He was very adamant.
there
We
are-
cleaned up the bread.
There are an absurd number of turkey legs still in
Right.
there.
Just bones.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
chicken bones and shit.
Looks like one of those layers of a beast you need to kill in,
Right.
in an adventure game.
Many things have died here.
Wow.
It's
Well,
like we
it's time to
found
scoop out
a few
snacks.
baguettes and some
Those can be used as
sailor's
weapons.
bread.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
Just sharpen it.
You're like
threw out
Snake
my
the
arsenal?
Vampire with that.
Right. It's a national sport.
That was my magazine.
We kept finding more and more, and yes, eventually we just left it as is.
It's amazing how much bread you can fit.
even the rats knew to respect it.
That's right. They know whose it pertains to. So she's accompanied by that tall Vestin, which you saw at the tavern last time. He's matching you, Rethold, in that he is also shirtless, and you get a polite
Get the
nod
nod.
as,
Oh,
you,
yeah, yeah.
as you step on board. He's wearing some sort of like leather harness on both of his arms, and that's more or less it.
Mm-hmm.
And the captain is like, Well, welcome to La Baleine Blanche. She's not as fancy as some ships of her class, but I hope you'll find her to her liking. She can hold her own in a fight, and that's what we care about.
Well, everything is an improvement to the last time I had a voyage. I was cargo then.
You actually get some winces from the crew. There is a dusky-looking bald gentleman who actually looks at you and gives you like sort of a nod of understanding.
Man, that human trafficking, like, I don't. It's like I don't want to have that in common with someone. It feels kind of bad. All right.
So the captain is like, since we're gonna be working together quite a bit, let me introduce you to the important crew members. As you know, I am Honoré du Carmagnac, captain of La Baleine Blanche. This is my ship's master, Magnus Persson, and she points to the Veston man. You also know Ernesto Suarez, my quartermaster, and Ernesto is there, like tossing the rest of his
Being swarthy.
cigarito overboard. She points to a.
Jenny does a. That's bad for the ocean and the earth.
There you go.
You should eat it.
Captain Planet.
Sure.
It's actually Genia.
Earth!
It's Captain Planet. It's just Earth, and then like a good solid like 10-second of awkward pause.
Fist!
Well, I can be fine.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Does that make you heart?
I was thinking that or wind, because I do talk a
You
lot.
are long-winded, yeah.
Oh no, I think Evie would probably be Win. She's invisible.
Because no one, oh yeah,
She's like the wind.
she's out of the fart in a storm, indetectable.
That's right.
Amanda laughs.
I mean, I know people fart.
She stepped away from the keyboard for a second.
Like a fart in a storm.
That's right.
Right.
Are you semi-taking my fart in the wind
Right.
Yeah,
joke? Yeah.
yeah. I was escalating it.
Yeah.
Like a fat in a storm.
It was gone. Like a fart in the wind. Never
So
gonna see
Ernesto
that.
is the quartermaster.
Oh.
Yes. She points
Farts
to
diagram.
a withered Castilian lady wearing a bandana and her long black hair in a braid. She says, "This is Emilia Velasquez, our helmsman. You've met Natasha Zaitsev, our purser." She points to a stocky gentleman wearing sort of half-moon spectacles. Looks a little bit older. And she says, "This is Tobias Schultz, or steward." She points to the bald.
Wait, what's Tobias's role?
He's the steward.
Oh, cool.
She points to the brown, bald gentleman that actually exchanged a
He
glance.
knows what it's like to be cargo, right?
Yep. This is Ibrahim, the ship's cook, and he
Oh, yeah.
nods very politely. You've met Connie, our bosun. She points to a shorter lady with cropped black hair, just looks sort of covered in soot. Says, "This is our master gunner, Brigitte Durand." She has very dark skin as well. There's this old lady smoking a pipe, wrapped in a shawl and over a sailor's coat, who's leaning against the mast. She says, "This is Miroslava Audra, or ship surgeon.
I like her.
She will be rooming with all of you," and then she sort of smacks her pipe against the mast and just waves a hand.
I imagine there's going to be weird jars coming out soon.
Is she my people?
She's Sarmatian.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, we haven't crossed out the Sarmatians yet.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing like one.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
That's why everybody.
This is a ship of nations.
So then
That's a melting
she's
pot.
like, "These are my officers," and then you see a gentleman sort of rushing through the crew towards Jimena, basically just calling her name and just like gives her like a big old hug.
Coming for you.
Oh yeah, we part like the sea and
Yeah.
just you know,
Jimena,
we've
this
been
is
doing this dance all day.
this is Jorge, who's the vigil. You've always suspected Jorge to have a not so secret crush on Jimena, but he's younger. He's a youth. He's probably like 19 or 20. He has a decent beard.
Oh.
Much
That's no.
less patchy than the last time you saw him.
They probably made him shave it a few times.
Yep.
And now it's finally filling all the way in.
That's right. It's not all on one side this time around. So it's
Man, now.
Yeah, exactly like that. See, you getting it?
and Castilian is like, "I do not want to believe it."
Well, it's true. I am back. For now. Not permanent.
Behind him, Rethel was like,
Can I just assume we're all standing here and I'm still holding Veronica?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Holding a lip.
I mean, I think you've been shown the room,
No, I
but
felt like
you probably
we were,
didn't.
Connie did
I think I
indicate
was
it, but
told there was a room.
yeah.
Oh, we haven't actually been shown the bunks yet.
I don't
No,
believe
I think
so.
You've indicated them, but you were
We're
sort
still
of
just,
coming
like,
on
getting
board
on
the
the
ship.
ship.
Yeah, so I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not that
I
it's
mean,
heavy for you.
I'm like,
we're probably the same height, but I'm definitely like super stocky. So I'm just like, okay,
yeah.
so just gotta float, you know, just hanging out.
You actually feel a hand.
I feel like
on
I'm
your
actually
arm.
telling her, like in
Surin,
Surin,
yeah.
everything that's happening.
Right.
Like I'm just.
Mhm.
And then this person
It's like
does
you
this,
talk to
and this
people and come.
there's another man. He's got the big beard. He's hugging Jimena. I don't know.
It's not a very big beard, but it is a beard.
It's a decent beard.
It's a decent beard.
It is a beard.
It is, in fact,
He has a
beard.
beard.
It's
That's right,
a,
yeah, yeah.
it's a
Not just
better
wrist.
beard.
Yeah.
It's like if you guys had seen it last time, you would appreciate it as well.
The surgeon looks formidable.
You actually
She
feel
smokes a pipe, which is
a
much better for
hand
the
on your
environment.
arm as you're talking to your sister, and you actually see the surgeon sort of
Oh,
She holds
grip
out
her
her
hand,
apple.
like her hand is like closer, and she's still holding her pipe, like
Yeah.
in the other hand,
And the
and
third hand comes out, which holds an apple with green.
That's right. real long fingernails.
Green dripping over it. For some reason, it looks like a skull.
and then I goes
Kind of
back.
six
Sorry,
fingers.
Jimena.
in a
Jenny
really
is like,
in a really thick Sarmatian accent, so think like thick like Hungarian accent. Like she's like,
I do like this woman. Although the few Sarmatians I've had run-ins with, I'm like, one of them had an eye
yep,
that keeps showing up.
that's right.
One of them was a
call you-
bitch
It's in his pipe. It's in
that
her pipe.
stole my sister.
Yep.
It blinks at you from her pipe.
So strange.
Nika.
She's like, we can go put your girl to bed if you want.
We have not told her everything yet. There's more to be said.
There's always something to be said around here.
bunch of talky tammies up in the ship.
Lots of hot air.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm like, what's the fucking term?
Right. Also, when Ernesto opens his mouth, don't believe anything he says.
Which one is that?
She sort of points like a long finger at
You
the,
tell her this, but like 10
Yeah.
seconds later, everything he says is gospel.
Yep,
Because that's Shenya.
that's right.
Imagine she gesticulates with the pipe, like,
Yep.
That's one.
Oh, he's a prophet. Okay. I get
I got you. Trust him.
it. Yes.
As is happening, Jorge finally lets go of the hug, and then
Oh wow, that was a long.
you see the
hug.
captain
It
being
was a
like,
long hug. Yeah, Rethel
"May I continue?"
settled into the lean like
Yes, this is Jorge or Vigil. Thank you for the illustration, Jorge. And he just takes a step back, as if his mom had just put him in line, and he yep.
Oopsie
He just
poodle.
pulls back a little bit and is like, "I'm sorry, ma'am."
So excited.
Well, he can
All right, how are we doing?
from tip to toe, so to speak.
Connie is like, everything's in place, secured, ready, and looks like we have all of our folks, unless you have somebody else that you're waiting for that I'm not aware of.
No, certainly not.
The elephant will find its own way home.
She sort of looks at you like,
No.
If you want,
I really want to ask.
If you want, you could ask me or you could ask her, and I don't know which story would make more sense.
No. What's her name?
Who's?
Madame Salvadora said she would get someone to help him home.
That's what they said. He find his own way home.
He's not finding his own way. He's being taken.
Oh, sorry, you're
He
right.
can't swim.
He can't.
No.
Wouldn't
Have
he
you
be able
never
to
met
swim?
an elephant before?
Well, not
Elephants
before
can't
then,
swim.
no. Right? Wouldn't they be able? You'd think
Not that far.
No, fair. That's
That's an ocean, not a lake.
Well, no, yeah.
No one knows anything about animals here.
Okay, but I imagine they're buoyant. They
For
like,
a,
Okay, I'm Global Dex now.
there's not
You
enough
see-
muscle strength to take across.
I also like
Brigitte, the
rotate.
gunner, is like,
They're
no,
like,
they're
She's
really
actually
not.
using
They're really not
Veronica's
buoyant at
hand to
all.
gesture.
Oh my god.
and I'm like,
No way.
Jimenez on down below.
about
Jimenez
elephant
put down.
buoyancy?
Yeah, I'm also
Yeah,
going
she
down
sort of
the
wipes her
top.
face and she's like, yes, from my home country.
I'm so sorry I asked.
Yes, we see them.
Oh, well then. Okay. Well, okay. See?
I
There
met
we go.
one. Yes.
Now, see, we're learning already. I nudge Jose. I'm like, see, we're learning. Okay.
Take it in, child.
That's right.
I went downstairs when Jimena did try to
Yep.
find a bunk.
You get a bunk. Connie basically indicates a section where you'll be staying. It's very clear which of these beds is Miroslava because it's full of basically medical stuff, as well as it's decorated with weird
Hedge witch, Gigas.
it looks a little weird. There's what you assume are shawls with beads on them, sort
Good,
of
I'm pretty
hung
weird. We're all
about.
pretty weird.
But yeah, there's just a mess of packs of bandages and what you assume might be surgical tools. They may be weapons. You're not quite sure exactly.
Hey,
Things can have multiple purposes.
one day it's one thing, one day it's
That's
another.
right.
Hell yeah.
I
It's,
know all about this.
Oh god, was my bunk Jorge's shrine this whole time that we were gone?
Oh,
Because they
dude.
said
Oh,
that
he
he was very particular about keeping
he
my
was
bunk
up there
up.
being like, it still smells like her.
Was he checking off?
Oh, hell yeah, he was.
Oh, why? Don't want to know.
Look,
Maybe not.
there's some things that are.
There's not enough murder and too much sex in this game.
Hey,
Jack the Ripper comes from the hold. Aha!
I'm sorry, dude. There are some universal constants. Okay? And one of them is gross boys. Alright? I know we're trying to work on some fantasy stuff here, but I'm like, you leave that boy alone next to a bunk of his crush for long enough. There's only one. Anyway, alright.
Yeah, we made that point taken.
coagulated.
Can we
But
like
I'm sure
go
he had
back?
to scrub it down afterwards.
And so I found
Either to erase
And
evidence or
yeah.
because he was in trouble. So it
Erase
should be
evidence.
clean. So it should be
I
clean.
mean, somewhere that has that's a corner and is on the bottom, and
I mean, you want at least a foot off the
Yeah.
deck.
You basically got
6 inches.
bunks and a footlocker to put your shiz in, and that's as much personal space as you got on
Yeah,
here.
if it's not pre-assigned, I throw my stuff onto a
Yeah,
bottom.
you got your section, but the individual bunks on there, except for Jimenez, who's very clearly marked.
Ew.
Sorry.
Everybody else can take
Just
their
two
own
others.
spots.
Technically,
Genya,
it's
you're
I
led-
finally follow someone.
yeah,
Okay.
you're led
My captain
to
has stopped talking.
basically like a more private area. The surgeon basically tells you that this was sometime used as almost like a makeshift like sick bay. If they had somebody that needed to be isolated for whatever reason, like they would go to this specific spot. There's a couple like it, so they're okay basically assigning
One
this
to me.
one.
Yeah.
You see that there's a makeshift hammock that was set up in the room as well in case you want to stay there. You see some marks on the floor where somebody has dragged one of the foot lockers into this spot. Just so
Well,
you
Joe,
can
I
use
still
it.
like the fucking princess. Well, I was a landowner in Usura, so I mean, I kind of am.
Yeah,
You are landed gentry.
Yes, I am.
that's right.
My mom was the fastest.
True
True story.
But yeah, the
My mom was burned as a witch.
I
And
never
so were
met
you,
my
honey.
mom.
And so was I, actually.
yeah,
Only
it just
I
didn't take.
survived.
It just didn't take. Yeah, it didn't stick.
It's a family heirloom.
The family tradition.
Thank you. I don't speak English.
No, that's okay.
It comes and goes.
I'll interpret for you. Don't worry. That's where Thea's from. God damn it! I saw Thea somewhere in a search term on something. I was like, "What the fuck was that sound familiar from?" Because we haven't played in a month.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Miroslava just helps you set up shop in there, drop your things, and set your sister. Like there's an actual better bed for
Nice.
her, where she'll be comfortable. And then she basically is like, anything you need me to do? Change compresses, cleaning. You.
No, she is healthy.
All right.
She's just not here right now. She'll come back.
That's sad. She sort of leans over and like looks at her and sort of brushes a little bit of her hair.
Yeah, it is, man.
Well, she does look healthy, so I'm sure she'll be back in no time. Sometimes that good air breeze does wonder for the
This
lungs.
is the whole reason why we are going on this trip.
She says as she takes a big draw from the pipe. Well, I'm bunking with the rest of your folks, so if there's anything that I can help you with, you know where to find me. She sort of grabs your hand and sort of slaps it. Like her hands feel like sandpaper.
Yes. I do
It's
love
like
her.
one big callus.
The eyeballs in your hand all of a sudden. It just. What the fuck is it?
You hear something roll on the ship's floor, but you can't see where.
She's sweet.
Like somebody rolled a marble into your room.
Nika, look!
I still think it's rude she's taking it even farther away from him now. Like, at least she
It's
had
found more of his people. It knows!
Maybe she's got a bunch of them. Like, maybe she's, like, pranking us.
Right.
Yeah,
She's,
it's her.
she's making it up.
Totally Genya.
There's a set
She's
of
gonna
them.
drop a bag and
She
make sure
has the
this is full of
imagination
glass
to make this
eyes.
shit up.
No, it's a jar. It's a jar with the
Pull the
liquid.
mask off. It was Genya
Right.
the whole time.
It's just all eyeballs.
Oh, that's weird, man.
Right. She just breaks into eyeballs
like,
and
yeah.
rolls away.
The biblical description of
dude.
angels.
Yes.
You'll never catch all of me! And it
The
bounced
C team,
downstairs.
the C team, like session
Everywhere.
1, session 2, they found a jar of eyeballs, and it's like a mason jar, and the grandma of the company hung onto it, and it was in her inventory for like 4 or 5 years. they like stopped that campaign. The jar came up in the last session, like, and it was like Chekhov's eyeballs. They just never got used. No one knew what they were for. No one knows what they do.
That's just.
And now they're starting a new campaign with different characters. It's in the same universe, so I'm like, will the eyeballs ever come back? Oh my god! So yeah.
Somebody needs to inherit the eyeballs,
right? Yeah. Anyway,
just show up somewhere.
well, no, and that's Rosie Beestinger, who's the mother of the mother of our nation, because the joke is that she adopts everyone and is very promiscuous. So anyway, cool. So yeah, as soon as we're bunked in, I'm shoving Jose and Josefina up to Constance. What's her name?
We're gonna have some little
Connie.
rosettes if
Connie?
you're doing
Yep.
this.
Yeah, up to Connie, and
Did
I'm
you
like,
say Jose?
We did. Just little rosettes.
There's 3 miniature one.
Yeah, he gets it. Not like Juliet, but like donuts.
Are you trying to ship my Jose's?
I'm not trying to. It just keeps fucking happening.
I'm not trying to ship them.
You're shoving them together.
No. Both, I'm shoving at the same time.
Up.
Up.
That just sounds worse
That's
now.
how ships work.
Were they sweet on each other?
No.
Okay, all right. I'm like, wait, am I forgetting something important here?
No.
That's how ships work. They occupy the same space at some point in time. They
That's
might
it.
have touched elbows.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
enough.
I mean, mine are pointy, so
Well, I'm already shirtless. I'm like, yeah, I'm already shirtless. I'm like,
Yeah.
when are we starting the orgy? When is that? We usually get out of port first.
Like
But I
what
don't know.
time?
When do we?
What time's the daily orgy?
It's, okay. I brought my own oil. Anyone?
So, on the opposite side of the ship.
I didn't get invited to the Pat's party.
Don't worry, it's an open invitation, so to speak. And I'm like, Magnus knows what I'm talking about. And he's already probably like,
Yep.
oh yeah.
You see him,
It's like,
you see him
no.
slide on the deck, testing the oil
Like a
like
slip and
belly
slide.
first.
sliding.
Just like hands first.
That's
So
right.
scandalous.
But yeah, I'm pushing that up towards Connie. I'm like, okay,
Yep.
they need a lot of work, and I want to. So
Will do. They immediately get
get us in the
grabbed.
rotation. Hell
I'm
yeah!
like, yeah,
And
Zhenya goes
they-
out for her job too.
I'm like, I know Jose is gonna be a subordinate to that kid for at
That's
least
right.
the first
Oh,
week.
yeah,
That's gonna be great.
That kid is gonna haze him
Oh,
hardcore.
Does the kid have a name?
Now that you heard.
yeah, it's just boy.
At
Yep.
this moment.
Yeah.
So, any of you, again, who want to be part of the crew, you'll be welcome. You'll be given jobs.
What would I do best around here?
I assume that I would just go back to doing whatever it was I was doing the last time.
I have 0 in sailing.
Although I never put much thought to what that would have
You
been.
probably worked under the gunner.
Probably.
I would have had to take a boat to get to where we were, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and your
The walk inland is
your
is-
soldier
Yeah.
your soldier background alone
Yeah.
gives you.
Okay.
Yeah,
You've
well,
been, you've been on
I have-
ships.
Yeah.
I have 3 dots in
Gives you a
sailing,
reference point.
so
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't got
I'm
nothing.
used to being on the ship.
You can do whatever you like.
Although you probably weren't a gunner's mate until you figured out how to control it.
That's true. Well, because Ernesto's the one who taught me how to sword fight.
Yep.
Mhm.
So I probably spent at least part of it working under Ernesto.
I can't really figure out what I would be doing, but I would go up and offer that I
He's
would
the
help something.
quartermaster, so.
Yeah, you
I'm not very strong, but
Cordage.
you get put to work.
What's that? I was like, carpenter's mate. No. Cordage mate. No. Whatever the one is that's
Since
in
you
charge of the
don't-
sails.
Know much about ships at the beginning.
Mhm.
You actually get placed with Ibrahim to start. out.
KP, yeah.
Ooh, you get to be a
Alright.
scullery name.
that's fine.
I'm pretty sure he
Are we-
has never sailed at all.
Well, you've been on ships to come to Castile,
Yes.
but
But as a
you've-
passenger.
yeah, you've
As
never
a
worked
stowaway.
on a ship.
Yeah.
There's always Yes, it was always stowaway or just straight up passenger.
Yep.
It's
Though,
totally predictable, but the Ogre is my favorite.
if you
Great.
are looking for work, I think it would be pretty quick where you'd probably get something working close to the vigils because you can see forever.
You have to deal with Jorge being like, what does she like?
Like,
God.
Does she work out still? Like, how does she smell?
Ew.
Like, has she ever mentioned me before?
I'm like, if he
of
comes
course.
to Zhenya, she often smells like
Sulfur.
No.
in Russia we have this. I don't know. She has a chemical smell. There's a lot she does with her hair. I'm not sure it's real anymore, but
I think it's back to being dark, although it is shorter than it used to.
Yes.
Because I cut a bunch of it off because it was damaged.
Oh, yeah.
You're fried as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like
Because I dyed it like 3 different times in the past couple weeks or
it's like
months
super peroxide.
because we kept getting seen by people and I had to keep changing my appearance.
That's right.
I tried
Yeah,
that
you
once
get
and it didn't even work.
Jimena, you get pulled in almost, just immediately.
You didn't have a choice.
Yeah, you just like Ernesto just like grabs you, and he's
I
like,
feel
"All right,
so many
you know
people.
they never replace your position, yes? So I'm glad to see you. I've been doing way too much work, not enough practice. So you will get to do both."
Yay.
Okay.
He seems genuinely overjoyed to see you. You get brought down to the cook
Senpai
and his
noticed
crew, and it is quiet in there. There's a couple conversations like in a hush, and you see
Have we got some sort of like assembly line of potatoes and whatever?
This is his church.
Yep.
It is now time to have service.
Ibrahim is seated at the head of the table and making some quiet assignments, and then when he sees you, you're accompanied by Connie, and she just basically like
These 3 are for Jared.
just basically leaves. He sort of gestures
the
you
idea.
to come on in and then introduces you a little bit to his crew, and sort of, how they're doing things down here. Very sort of, friendly for such a dour looking man, right? Like he's very soft spoken, but, he's just,
Yeah, my last boss basically barely talked at all, so...
right.
This fucking guy never stopped talking.
He sort of shows you a little bit like where the kitchen area is, like where the prep is happening, and just like does like small talks, and eventually, after like a moment of silence, like he basically just asks you point blank, "Where were you held captive?"
Well, you misunderstand slightly. I am from Wadachi. I was being smuggled out.
So you were captive in your own homeland.
Correct.
I heard of some people being made captives in your country.
Well, it is not a country that is very kind to its women.
That I hear. He sort of like he's fetching in a drawer and pulls like a couple aprons and sort of holds them in front of you, and then finally grabs one and just like tosses it over your head.
Well, try it on.
That was kind of him to size it up to you.
Yep.
I could always fix it myself, you know.
In fact, I take it later in Ed Ruffles.
Little embroidery.
Yeah. Anyway.
Stay away from the chef.
He basically says, I spent the better part of 8 years basically rowing a boat from the south of your country to the Crescent Empire and back.
Your arms must be very tired.
Well,
Yep, he's very muscular.
sounds like does not sound like a job you wanted to be doing.
It was not by choice.
I'm sorry about that.
My parents passed when I was young, and my caretaker sold me to pay gambling debts. So, myself and a lot of the other boys, that was the life that was chosen for us. The captain came across our ship and sunk it to the bottom of the sea. She offered me a job on this ship. I have not looked back twice.
Sounds like a better deal here.
This is a good crew.
You seem very friendly, but also competent.
Absolutely. That's the captain's gauge. If you can pull your own weight and basically work with the culture she's built, you'll find your place on this ship regardless of where you're from or what your past was like. No questions asked.
It's good.
With that, I've already asked too many questions and we have work to do. So if you don't mind,
Yes, I have my assignment.
and there descends about 15 pounds of potatoes on this table.
Knew it.
Cut away from
Yep.
yourself, not towards.
It's where it begins.
Good thing I'm used to like
Get it all off in one
medium
peel.
labor.
The sweet comfort of
Also, I'm
a
pretty
paring
good with
knife.
a knife.
Yep,
Yeah, my knife skills are on point now.
that's right. You're a knife fighter now.
You start putting little intricate patterns into each potato, and people are like, "You're wasting potato." Stop,
Right.
like that's at least 4/8 of that potato. We could have.
It's lost on this audience.
I would totally just use it to like get only peel off. I'm like, almost no potato in that one. Yeah.
Right. You cut like 4 half moon shapes on there and you get like a square of potato about the size of a die.
I think it would be funny if I just like tossed them all in the air like enemy style and just went and then I'm all done.
Yeah, Fruit Ninja.
Fruit Ninja.
Spud Ninja.
Sure, I'll take that as one of my titles.
There you go. Fucking relaunch that IP. Nobody steals this internet. Nobody will.
If you ever hear us.
Just hear the echo. So as you busy yourself, you feel a shudder as the sails are unfurled. The boat is untied from the docks. And Rethel, you hear the very calming sensation of the ship sort of leaving mooring.
Them creeks, though.
Yep. It is creaky. You feel the good.
Jaren's old car used to creak like an old ship when he returned.
That's probably not a good thing.
No, that's why he doesn't. Well, I mean, it's not why he doesn't have that car anymore. But it was one of those things. Like it would happen, and then he would try to take it in to get looked at, but it could never be recreated when it was getting looked
Well,
at.
the car's an asshole.
So everything looked
Yeah.
like everything always looked fine, and then we'd be going somewhere, we could turn left and be like, I'm like, your car creaks like an old ship.
I love those cars that are dicks when you try to replicate it or show it to a mechanic. It's like, yeah, I didn't do anything.
I feel
There's
like
nothing.
that
Yeah.
happened to us a fair amount too.
Yep.
That happens with our computers at work all the time. We're like, we'll call IT to come fix a problem, and they'll come get there and be like, yeah, I didn't see anything. It's
Yeah.
doing the thing, it's fine. And then they leave, and then it immediately does it again. You're like, God damn it!
Yep.
All right, and with that, the ship leaves port. It is not long until you are out on the open sea, and you start seeing the silhouette of San Felipe getting smaller and smaller in the distance. Sound of the birds and the sea breeze just battering the ship. It was a nice, good, windy day. Very sunny.
The Muppets come out on deck and sing Sailing for Adventure.
That's right.
Oh.
There's fathoms below, fathoms below.
This was donut.
That's right. Donut pause.
Medicine pop too.
Donut, sure. Oh, is that time?
And as the ship starts to bob, it's not long before you start seeing nothing but open waters as far as the eye can see. You get a faint outline of the coastline way behind. All right. As you continue to do work, any special tasks that you want to do outside of your day job? Anything you'd like to scout about your new surroundings?
I mean, I work on my projects in the evening.
Scouting.
Yeah. All right.
At some point, I'll probably try to get some exercise in somewhere, like practicing.
I look for heavy shit to lift.
Oh, there's plenty of that.
I mean, mostly I'm sitting there peeling, so I want to use the rest of my body.
Yep. Roll me a finesse plus weaponry. If you go to practice, you see that Jimena and Ernesto are up to practice of their own on the deck.
You're working with Josefina?
You're working with Josefina? Which one of you?
Who are you, what would I be working with her?
Forward.
Oh, I guess I could have Ernesto teach her.
Basically trying to Wesley Dreadpire Roberts that kid. I'm like, teach her everything. Teach her whatever. see what she leans into, you know?
I got 5.
You got 5? All right.
Should I tell her how to defend herself?
It's weird at the beginning because of the movement of the ship.
Oh yeah. My balance is off.
Yep. If you're doing this at night, like Ibrahim actually comes up to like for some air and will basically like say, yeah, it's the footing takes some time to get used to.
Yes, that's what they call the sea legs. I do not have those yet.
Yeah.
He basically suggests you to go barefoot at the beginning.
Feel the deck.
Yep.
Yep.
Get that rolling deck.
So you can basically feel how the ship is moving, how the deck is moving, sometimes like almost separately. As he's giving you these pointers, like you hear the clanging of steel behind you as they're basically reenacting an episode of Zorro over there.
This feels like being in the swordsman school all over again.
Yeah, they're basically like fencing like up and down the stairs and jumping over shit. Once in a while, like you hear Ernesto being like, "Aha!" as he lunges.
Are you paying attention? Josefina, watch.
She's watching.
Are you like
She
cutting
seems-
X's into like his chest or something?
If you're looking at her, she has like a mixture of being like slightly like panicked, like she doesn't know if one or both of you are gonna get injured, and the other half of her seems genuinely like excited. about seeing this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god, this is so awesome.
I wonder if my style would be more fitting for her. Mostly just talking to myself, though.
As you do some practice,
It's like, relax, Josefina.
she's like, me? But I don't.
You have to learn.
It's not long before, like,
Bend your knees, you'll roll.
still while dueling you, right? Like, you continue to fight.
Does he have one in his
And it
hand?
still basically like grabs a second sword and sort of like slides it across the deck to her, and like it slides past her because
Yeah.
like she's still.
Like, what?
Yep, she's not in sync with you all yet. So she sort of runs after the sword and basically is like, all right, I'm gonna.
I ship her in Jorge.
Maybe it'll take his mind off of you.
She is very pretty and blonde.
And young, take her.
Yeah.
You're probably closer to, yeah, they're closer in age.
She's got to watch out for his brother, though.
Does he have one?
Sorry, he's got to watch out for her brother, though.
Who's
Yeah.
her? Oh.
Jose
Jose.
Mendez Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who was your father, Roberto Rodriguez?
What?
What?
Doesn't make any sense. You're doing strength training in the meantime.
I was like, I'm just helping.
Yeah, I let her do strength training. Like, anytime they're like, aren't you? And I'm like, no.
She picks
Good.
up anything I try to. Along as what she has.
That's right.
Last time she just picked me up.
Connie-
Things to lift.
Connie is loving it. As they're finalizing the end of like the cargo. They're just like, it's not long.
I
before
stack the boxes in like a little castle.
She, you see her head like come out like from in between two rows of cargo, and she's like, "Oh, Zenya, there's a crate here. Could use your help with."
Ooh. Lift.
It's you're being put to use. Like the moment they see like that woman has a talent, and we will make use of it.
She's a fucking bear. Go.
I mean, literally sometimes.
Well, I can't wait to do it on the boat.
Boat bear, naval bear.
Who was waiting for more?
Rethel, that's you. Bear.
Aquatic Asuran.
Ooh, I like it.
Oh yeah. Rethel, if you're moving around, of course, like Magnus
Ursa Aquatica.
is more than
Yeah, I was
happy
gonna say,
to sort of loop you in and
Starring Steve Zissou.
nice.
Oh yeah, no, like, you know.
He talks like sailing with you and
Mhm.
you know like the how he came about serving on the ship after being a raider for a few years, and he's more than happy to discuss. You know, you get into like the almost philosophical, you know,
Oh no, and I love it
implications
because
of sailing.
he has an opportunity to teach about large masted ship sailing, because my experience is mostly small craft, row craft, which is our. But he's got several years on me on this boat, so I'm like, yeah, teach me whatever.
Yeah, if you express that to him, he's more than happy to highlight the fine differences, all the while pointing out that as great as it is,
yeah, it doesn't beat a dozen motherfuckers pulling that wood.
That's
yeah,
right.
no, it's.
That's right.
I mean, you know.
He's like, it's the noise when the oars hit the water.
Oh yeah. No, both of us get that 1,000-yard stare when he starts talking about it. Just
right.
like,
Like any of you who pass by, like it is serious as shit. Like they're looking out, like both of them, like arms folded.
Both of our hands slowly go to whatever weapon we have and just sort of touch it. Like,
Yeah. Suddenly they're
Okay.
both scalds. It's almost like poetry. Magnus is talking about the sound
Are
the
they both
oars.
still shirtless?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Duh.
They were born that way, they'll live that way.
That's right.
That's right. They live that life. If they're far south down here. He basically says, like, the ship you're targeting, all of them are crapping their pants at once as they hear rhythmic thud of the oars on the
That
water.
slap. Yeah.
And they know.
Yeah.
They know.
They know what's coming.
I'm feeling a strange masculine energy right over here.
Right? You see like an aura snaking up from
Big
both
Norse
of them.
energy.
Nice.
Aurora Borealis. But yeah, no, he's basically more than happy to get you wherever you'd like to be on the ship. Like anything you'd like to see, anything you'd like to.
It's like they're going on a date.
Yeah, a 3-month date in our
That's right.
favorite place in the world.
Yep.
No, yeah. Basically, I'd want to be in a support role where, I'm able to be useful, but also to pick up some new info and skills relevant to sailcraft.
Someone could play with the cat.
Yes, JC had the door closed, and I left it open when I went to check on her. So now Basil's toys are full volume. I let Bella escape.
But no, he's basically happy for that, and he's like, well, you have some knowledge of the inner workings at least, so I think you'll be of some use to any of the ship's officers.
Mm-hmm.
We can put you in touch with, some of them, so we can move you around.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, because this is the captain's policy, there is a very great chance that we will get to, let's just say, politely nudge some of the Montaigne ships that travel this close to the border.
Politely.
Hell
nudge.
yeah.
Ooh, I know somebody who'd be happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're calling it now?
I think Jose Jr. is learning some Vestin, and I'm also having him take notes of things he's learning on the craft, and then comparatively to should he ever happen to. I don't think he'd ever be on a Vestin craft, but should he ever encounter one, things to keep in mind.
Yes.
You're making him keep a journal that you inspect every day.
Jose.
No, but I do bring it up later. I'm like, what were we talking about? What was the difference? What are that?
Jose is maintaining poise, but seems clearly a little worse for wear.
Does he need to bomb?
Oh, he's got gills. All right.
Carlito is also riding him hard.
Oh,
His new master is a harsh one.
well, I ease up on him. I'm definitely not as rough a taskmaster,
Right.
Because I got my own work to do.
No. And
I know that
Jose,
he's got a new.
he's very much like, I will not show weakness.
Yeah.
I
Right.
just imagine that kid being like, "What did I tell you you were supposed to be doing? Get your ass over here!"
Oh yeah. You actually hear a little bit of that happening, where he's basically he's yelling at poor Jose. That kid, like, his voice is cracking all over the place. Right. It does not deter him.
Good try.
That's right. All right. Ricardo is actually finding quick employment with the master gunner.
Oh, I bet.
talks a little bit about having handled artillery for the Crows previously, more land-based stuff, so she's sort of, you know, giving him some of the basics.
And just down there wiping down cannons.
That's right. When he does show up in the evening,
Strokes.
he is covered in soot.
So many phallic things. So many phallic things.
Jenna trots down. What are you doing?
Jenna, not during our private time.
He's actually like significantly less dressed than you normally see him. If you go and see them down there, like you see that the master gunner herself, basically is wearing like her shirt and like she's wearing like crop pants and she's going barefoot in the gunnery room.
Nice.
It's hot as balls down there, and you know she's just scurrying up and down and getting people ready. They're running drills right now. You see that they're preparing with their like supply chain in case they get attacked. She's putting Ricardo to work. The man is, is working up a sweat. He does come to see you when you come down. It's just like Bridget just hands him like a cloth. You're not quite sure that cloth will do much of anything because you're pretty convinced it used to be white at some point. But
It's so small.
it's some other color now.
At the end of your shift, you walk to the bow
I was like, I'm done lifting things. There's no more things
and
to
just
move.
fall in, and then pull yourself up off the rope that's hanging off the stern. And that's sort of the process to clean up after a shift.
Right.
Have moved all the crates. What do you need done?
Later, I may move them to the other side of the ship.
You just keep doing that every day.
Weird actually starts laughing out loud.
hilarious.
She's like, "Can you move these cannons?"
Of course. She's like smaller than anyone in the room. Of course I can. Go, push. You can't?
She
How'd you
just
ever do
starts
anything without me?
laughing, like full on laugh.
I don't understand. She asked if I could move it. I moved it. What is funny?
Tell Connie if we encounter a hostile ship, she's down an employee. You are working down here.
I can work everywhere.
One could hope. One could only hope. One could dream. Like it is a lot quicker to have you go push right into the hole as opposed to a two-man team ratcheting that
I was
sucker
a soldier. This is easier.
It's just lifting things.
Yeah. It is what I was doing topside, but plus.
Hotter and
This is
dirtier.
within my skill set.
This is the whole box.
Yep.
Not just the lid.
Evine, if you have not, do you want to roll a wits plus notice to do some
Oh, I
scout?
did.
Yeah,
I got 8.
of course you did.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, Bella's out.
You have a pretty solid understanding of how this ship operates at this point. It's very clear that the crew are pretty close-knit and seem very loyal to the captain as well. Some of them have a little bit more of a mercenary bent to them, but they seem to have enough of a unifying vision under the captain that, you know, it really pulls them together. As you snoop around the ship, you see that tucked away with the cargo is a small treasure trove of Montaigne, I want to call it memorabilia. There's quite a few flags, many swords, at least a couple hats. There's a
Tricorns.
there's a wall shelf for scrolls.
Hello.
that is full of documents. I don't know if you want to, with 8, I don't know if Evine would look at some of them.
Probably.
If you peek at it, you find ship's correspondence from some of the Emperor's ships, some orders that were sent back and forth. You see a few ship's manifests. In fact, a few of them are actually dealing with the slave
Are you
trade.
looking for your box keys?
It seems to you from your trained eye that they're confiscated items from a slew of Montaigne's ships, basically patrolling the southern edge of the waters between Montaigne and Castile.
You rolled my die with your tail.
The room is sort of tucked away, like it's not really guarded per se, but you know, it takes a little bit of twisting and turning to get to, and it's accessible from the captain's cabin. Which you do with 8. You could potentially attempt a stealth check and try to sneak into if you're trying to get some insight on the captain herself.
He's being a creeper again.
Yep.
I mean, when
So
you're
good at it,
basically a
though.
ghost, you might
Evine's
as
gotta
well.
do what Evine's gotta do.
Is that finesse or what? I guess it doesn't actually matter. It's the same.
Yeah. It would be finesse, but yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Bella.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
She's sitting in the empty chair, too, which is pretty amusing.
This is bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, kitty.
Amanda, can you imagine the face I just made?
Yeah.
Toss that water bottle dramatically. Quote unquote.
I'm adding.
Let's play football.
I mean, at this point, it's a math project, so take your
Yeah.
time.
How many dice do you have in this pool?
Probably like
All of them.
15.
All of them, yes.
More dice than impossible. Broken ass to be.
Uh-huh. I mean, a few things I do are broken, but Evine has a lot of things that are broken.
And it's another 8.
All right. You do get an opportunity in the bustle and the commotion as people are getting ready for mess for the evening, to sneak into the captain's cabin, which if you do get in there, you find that it is, by all intents, pretty elegant, not as floofy as you could imagine a captain's cabin being. There's quite a few trophy adorning the walls. At least you feel these might be trophies, things that have been confiscated here and there. You see a ornate saber on one of the walls that seems like it has a couple dents in it, that displayed pretty prominently. You see what you assume to be some sort of bovine skull propped on, a
She recites poetry.
cabinet. It has like nice. It looks like it might be like a bull's skull, but like the horn seems a little bit too big and twisty for that. So we're not exactly quite sure
Is it a moose?
what that actually came from.
Mental note to look for this creature later.
Right. There is
Describe it to
a
Xania, Steve.
Yeah.
there's a plaque with a coat of arms that you do not recognize. It's not any major houses that you know of in any country that you're aware of. The saying at the bottom is in Montaigne, It roughly translates to death before dishonor. But it doesn't track to any major family that you know of. If it is a coat of arms for like a noble family, like it's either like a vassal one or a pretty small one, may be extinct altogether. There's a little writing desk with some correspondence in there. It looks like the captain is keeping a log on there. If you do read it, it's pretty transactional. It's the prose in it is fairly dry. It seems like it's kept mostly for an account of facts as opposed to a storytelling device. You know, it just keeps, you know, dates and actions mostly straight. But
Such
you
a
can get a sense of the movements tracking back and forth. It seems they've been coming to San Felipe a lot more in the past 5 years or so. And seem to be making some travels around the Castilian coast. You do in the desk find a letter written by Ushia Seraphine, basically making that ship a privateer crew under the Grande of this Gran Ducado, basically giving them any legal rights to attack ships that may be a threat to either the Gran Ducado or the Kingdom of Castile. The document is written in such a way that what constitutes a threat may be room for interpretation. So there's enough leeway on there that they can probably assault foreign ships without too much of a legal hassle, at least. Diplomats would have to sort this one out if somebody was to raise an outcry on this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's a couple of crossed pistols as well in the room. She doesn't live in a lot of luxury. Like her bed is, you know, she has like a full bed in there, but it's not like a crazy luxurious bed. It's pretty functional. Yeah. She does have a fair amount of adventure books.
Are they choose your own adventure books?
Hell yeah.
Is there not enough death in them?
Right. There's not enough murder in them and too much sex.
Did you hear that earlier? Were you around?
No, she was
No,
not.
you were not. I'll talk to you later.
It's Lisa's bane.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Too much
And
sex, not enough murder.
novels
my
of
critique
sex
of-
and murder were imbalanced.
Yeah.
Leaning too much on the sex, not enough on the murders. But
I
yeah,
was
no,
promised
there's
murders.
No,
There's,
she better have romance novels that are men who can't find their shirts. She secretly has a thing for Magnus.
oh yeah, there's some of them have illustrations, and yes, it's very dashing.
Stretch.
It's primarily in Castilian and in
Long
Montaigne, and you see like an assortment of adventure novels. Some of them are about dashing pirates. Some of them are
Do you
about
have
like
the shirts on or off?
masked
Yes.
heroes leading revolutions.
She's
You
got a
see
title.
some of them that are like basically war novels about a scrappy band of young heroes turning the tides in the war between Montaigne and Castile. Funnily enough, there's at least 2 different books that have that, and both of them are written on either side of the border, so your mileage may vary. The good guys and the bad guys switch depending on which book you're in. But yeah, there's not too much secrecy in that cabin. You do find a couple personal letters. Like it seems like she writes to family at home somewhere in Montaigne. there's someone called Didier that she obviously cares about, but probably a family member from the way those letters are written. Either her father or a brother, or, you know, you're not quite sure. But yeah, it seems that she sends some money back home periodically and keeps in touch with this person. But yeah, you do a pretty thorough toss in there and then manage to
Checks out.
make your way out of there before you cast suspicion on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they call it these days?
You're right.
Right? Magnus is played by John Cena now.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. So people break for the evening meal. This is a pretty joyful affair. People seem to be happy to be back at sea.
There's so many potatoes.
After the fact, a few people go up on deck either to resume duties. Some folks that kind of go get some night air before going to bed. A few bottles of alcohol are brought out. You hear Magnus, as he's taking a swig from one of these bottles, that everybody better be shipshape tomorrow, and that anybody who forces on the bottle a little bit too much will do double duty. So,
Is it a promise or a threat?
both.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
There seems to be like a pretty big work hard, play hard attitude happening. The captain herself is drinking from a bottle of wine. There's a few stories being exchanged on some of the ships that they've plundered. It's almost like a Rashomon situation, because like that story is being told and then somebody else pipes in and adds some extra details that don't quite mesh with everybody else, who you're not exactly quite sure what the actual tale was. But nobody contradicts each other. They're like, oh, it totally happened like that.
It's changed since you last heard it.
Yeah,
like,
Yep.
I thought it was. It's like, well, no, because.
well, you've been off the ship too long. You don't remember.
Right.
Well, I'm pretty sure the last time you said there were only 7.
That's not how memory works.
At least a couple of these, Jimena, you were there during these.
I don't remember it happening like that.
Yeah, you do.
The way I remember it, it was like this.
No.
Right.
It was like,
After a while, if you listen to that, you can basically
Yeah,
infer
like you've been inhaling too many fumes.
what each character likes to add as creative licenses. Magnus is all about like weather being bad. It's always like ship-rending storms and winds that crack the sails.
Magnus, it was sunny that day.
And there's like thunder, you know?
Just ignores you completely.
Yep.
I
Always.
don't remember that.
Ernesto likes the acrobatics, so you know there's always way more badass maneuvers.
I seem to recall you falling on your face.
Yeah, it's like he swung from the sail. It's like they took out our sail. There was no sail.
It's like the sails were up.
Connie is the corrector. Like she's just like, no, like you just slid across deck and you just happened to land like that. Like she's the one that's trying to keep it like down to earth, but she gets vetoed all the time.
Stop being a killjoy.
It's yes, aunt.
Ricardo actually brings you a drink, Zhenya, if you're interested in going up top and drinking.
I mean, of course.
He's airing out for a stay.
He comes in dripping. He's like, I just finished my shift, so I did the stem to stern.
Yep.
Zhenya's still in her boots, just like,
Yep.
oh, okay.
Everybody is like, these two guys are just like, they've been shirtless all day.
I'm pretty sure that
Let's
doesn't
go.
stop until they're on land again.
Every so often I bring out the bottle of oil. I'm like, is it now?
No, okay.
No? Okay.
Oh, is that the oil out? Turn me up.
Later? Later.
What are you trying to cook?
Stop trying to make oil happen. It's never gonna happen.
He doesn't even go here.
You hear Magnus from the other side saying, "It's wrestling."
That's what we call it.
I don't think we should wrestle.
Are you afraid you'd lose?
Yes.
I want to.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, I go to bed fairly early, and
Oh.
because I got to deal with my lashes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
You
you-
said.
Genya.
Oh.
Have you ever seen a cow with curly horns?
Have I ever seen a cow with curly horns?
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just even is there, like next to
I
you.
think
suddenly.
like Jenny's always like, oh, she comes from the earth. It's okay.
It's right.
Sprouts right up.
She just sprouts like a tree.
Even in the sea.
Yeah. She lives where the grass is really, really green, so she's probably like a
Yeah,
tree
it's
person.
sprout.
Totes.
Like daisies.
Yeah. I don't know. Have I ever seen this curly horned cow?
Well, there's some. If you ask her for a description, like it seems like it might be like some kind of an oxen.
Okay.
So I'm so convinced it's a yak.
It might be an ox. It's very big, not like a cow, but like a cow.
Someone said moose. I like that theory. Was that you?
Right.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah.
I've definitely never seen.
No,
a
they're horns. It's definitely
Are they like?
They're horns, not antlers.
not antlers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did you find a curly horned cow?
Oh, just
Around.
Oh, I just I thought about it. I was wondering if you'd ever seen
this
one.
wasn't
You know.
familiar.
I've been up deck, below deck, and in the guns, and I saw no animals.
From the description of the horn she gives you, it does seem. It seems like it's like some kind of ox or a yak or something like
I
that.
vote yak. It's a yak.
What did its hair look like?
Was it fine? Was it coarse? Was it?
Is it long and
No
straight?
The face is good. The face is like, what the fuck?
Your prognostic changed completely. You've never seen a
I'm
hairless
hairless,
yak.
yeah.
No.
She's considering whether
Right,
Genya will be disturbed
right.
by an animal head trophy.
Just a skull?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if she, well,
She,
I'm sure you
Yeah,
could
good.
you could pose it a certain way that you're like, oh, it was just the skull of it, so it
Right.
didn't have hair. That probably wouldn't weird out Xenia so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a second, Genya, you have the idea in your
Imagine
head
this pink naked yak.
of like a,
Like a
a
naked
hairless
little yak.
ox, like
Oh,
all
like a
wrinkly
Sphinx
and
yak.
sad looking.
But in
and
the
you're
tundra, really cold, really upset about it.
Like, yeah, it's shivering a
How did you
little.
not see this?
This is terrible. The,
It's
She
cruelty.
sees the confusion. It's like, oh, I mean, it was just the skull.
yeah, Jenny's like, the predator should have put it out of its misery. That sounds terrible. It would not be able to run.
It was
Some
just-
asshole just shorn it.
Oh, a skull. Okay. Well, if I looked at it, I could tell better. But I guess from here, it sounds like maybe a yak.
I like this word, yik.
Yeah.
She says with like the Genia's accent. Perfectly. She's never heard it without the accent.
Yak.
Yeah, that's the noise that Jose made a little earlier. When
Feeding the fishes.
Mhm.
By the way, Jose is standing a little bit more straight
Oh.
right now.
Yvine, come. Ricardo and I are going to drink.
Okay.
Sing a song with us.
Jose gets yelled at for chumming the waters.
Yep,
You're going to attract predators.
that happened once.
Yeah.
Now he is determined that nobody will see him yak overboard anymore.
That's a big yak.
Yak overboard!
Yak overboard. He's like, I will
He's
pretend
carry
this
the
doesn't
barrel.
happen. He is,
Swallow. Man up.
Mm.
Swallow.
You know what I've never been? A fish.
Oh boy, this is what happened when Jenny drinks.
Right. This is where we are now.
No, she's an able drinker with a cast iron stomach. Nothing happens to Jenny when she drinks.
Without the slightest
Provocation.
hint
No.
of irony, Connie is drinking straight from a bottle, and she said, "No, me neither." Like, just deadly serious, right? Like, as if, like, this is the conversation we're having right now.
Well, we are on the ocean.
I will have to know one.
We could introduce you.
Oh, find me a fish that I may get to know.
I really don't feel like I'm anywhere near this.
You can it's prickling your hair. You're
but
like, she's saying something.
No, I feel like an avatar of my personality is somewhere nearby. And it's gonna be like, have you ever seen a whale?
No.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
What is a whale?
There you go.
Whale.
It's a
Whale.
really
We
big
got a
fish.
Whales are not fish.
They breathe air. I don't
They're-
know what the whale is. So I
Ah!
Whales are
I said like, it's a simile, it's...
it's a comparative.
It was a fish. It was like a fish.
That's right. It's like, puts his boot up on the railing. Zin, yeah.
If Ian, have you heard of a whale?
I have, yes.
What is it?
Big. Bigger than a bear.
Like a
Yes.
sea elephant.
Like the elephant?
Bigger. They are very large.
This does not exist.
Oh, it exists.
What's his
50 elephants.
what's his name? Redburn?
How many elephants?
50.
She laughs.
They're not that big.
You're all crazy.
What's his name comes out with a turtle shell ukulele and starts singing Whale of a Tale.
Oh, there we go.
Is that Redford? No. Oh,
There's no one named Redford. What are you?
I'm thinking of the actor who sung that stupid thing. I know his name. Where
is it from?
Just went down a rabbit hole.
I'm
not
asking the
sure.
internet. I'm asking the internet.
Does Natasha have? What color are her eyes? Is she magic like me?
She's not magic.
Okay, so they're not
She's not.
green.
She's not. She doesn't have the green eyes.
Yeah.
She hasn't been touched
Uh,
by the mother.
she needs to learn that lesson.
Maybe if you wrestle with her enough, she'll learn.
Wow, that's not how it works.
No, you never know.
She has to learn her own
So
lesson.
you went to your room.
No, I know exactly how it works.
Jose is learning. He's learning.
Kirk Douglas. There we go.
He's learning Kurt Douglas.
Well, I mean, he's learning inner composure. He's like, I'm master of my own body.
Rabbit.
I will not.
Amanda,
Uh-oh.
She dropped?
we lose her.
Did my battery die? The battery might have died.
Oh, wow. Didn't plug that in.
No, I didn't, because I didn't know whether or not I would need it. Yeah.
Mhm.
That battery's hella dead.
Hello.
Tony's battery died.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're still with us.
We lost you.
Just
an external drive.
okay.
I think he's looking for his power cord, but we'll keep you on here for now.
Okay. My computer is having a meltdown because I'm trying to do motion graphics with it, so I probably should stay on the phone anyway.
That's probably better. Yeah.
Alright.
So yeah, Marilena, you went back to your
I
quarters.
just looked at my sheet and I'm like, I don't think I should take more damage right now. But still, I sleep early and wake early generally.
If you want to take your
Oscar
battery a bit,
and
you can go
Emil
ahead
are
and
taking it with
plug
the
into either
crew
one.
real well.
That's not the same
They're doing
as,
work.
as this.
Oh, it's not? You have an older one? Or a different one?
Like
You
I
can't plug
mentioned,
iPhones into this.
You can't?
No,
No.
they have the special little sensory looking
That's
things.
the green cord?
Jose is trying to
Hold on.
master his
I got
own
some for
body
this.
right now
Ew.
and not to show weakness.
Oh.
Yes, please.
In the
I
background,
cannot
as
see the
these
hole.
conversations are happening,
Not very good at putting it in the hole.
Well, I can't do without looking either.
Plug that into the...
Other hole.
Yeah.
most of us can.
There's more on this side.
Dongles.
Just daisy chain this bad boy.
Yeah, that's right.
Like a tech centipede.
That's better than the other type of centipede.
Yeah.
No.
Not charging.
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Just took a second.
Well, I had to travel.
Yeah.
You have to travel between all of this.
It had to come and knock on the door. Can I come in?
It had to do the handshake.
I'm glad it knows the handshake. I sure as fuck don't know the handshake.
In the background, as conversations are happening, you hear the click, click, click of steel on steel as Ernesto is trading spars with Amardin. She looks very uncertain still, but you know he's giving it his all. He's lunging and dodging and like ducking all around her, and the poor girl seems very overwhelmed, but he's relentless.
Fighting.
She sort of nods at you, and then like there's a lunge that comes like immediately after. So she's like, oh, like you hear her like yelp and whelp like here and there as she's like ducking to get out of the way. Like she's running more than fighting at this point.
Which
but
I mean, it's a valid form of combat.
correct.
It's a start.
She's learning positioning.
As in running away. This is the position.
She very
She's learning,
quickly learns. And you get a sense that that's what Ernesto's driving at, because like she seems to be learning not to let him on her flank. She's doing a lot of running just to keep him like
in front of
her at any time.
That's smart. You're doing good.
You hear it. Thank you. And she's running. I don't know what I'm doing.
Do we ever?
No.
Yeah, Ricardo is just exchanging booze. Lets Evine lead the song part of the evening.
I don't know these words.
just mimic the sounds.
I don't know why. They're all in Thayan.
Yeah, we all speak Thayan.
That's right.
Yeah, but she speaks it funny.
Speaks it funny.
Yeah, they do.
We all speak it funny.
Yeah, they do.
I just imagine us all trying to speak Thayan. It's like we're all speaking the same language, but with like thick accents.
Yeah,
So
nobody
we're
understands.
just like, it's like
I mean, we spend most of the time speaking Thean to each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm the only one that speaks a common language with anyone.
Aside from Thayan, yeah.
Yeah, so because I speak
Best.
Vested.
I can speak Voldachi.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Like,
It was hard enough to learn
Even
anything
speaks
at all
every language.
in my situation.
Yeah, he speaks all the
She
languages.
speaks every
true.
language perfectly except for Cian, where she has a really thick accent for some reason.
yes.
Or maybe that's just the right way.
Right. It may be a cover ID.
I
You're
just
not
did
quite
those
sure.
and Amanda could not see my air quotes. I don't know what I'm doing.
Evine is built in layers, so you're not quite sure.
She's like an onion.
In the proper way of her people,
But
yes.
she doesn't smell or make me cry.
She's the only one. She's the only one that can speak Thayan
Yes.
correctly.
I know people like that. I have onions in my life.
Oh, that's
They smell and make me cry.
me too. One big fat yellow onion
I think I am the onion.
that has gone rotten and is not even sweet.
Tony's realization. Oh shit, maybe I'm the
I've been the onion this entire time.
Oh no, it's me.
I don't know.
I
You,
am the onion.
you might just be a beet
Just
or
roll into
something.
a ball.
I feel like I'm more of a like a bulb of garlic.
I'm an artichoke.
What? I don't even know.
Sort of fibrous.
Yeah, I don't know what sort of vegetable I would
Sort of
be.
Yeah, I
fibrous
think I can definitely be potent, but
I'm probably-
nice to have along
I'm
with
an
things.
eggplant.
I feel like I'm probably like an avocado. I have a squishy outer layer that's only... You have to get it at exactly the right moment or else it's
That's
not
it.
good.
And fuck.
And you're a stone fruit.
Yeah.
I got a pit.
Right.
Welcome to Internal Produce Channel.
That's right.
Caller, you're on.
Yeah. Well, now you gotta do one too now.
I'm probably a turnip.
All right.
Goes good with stew.
Bulb grows up
Strangely
in the
hairy in certain places.
Right. Welcome to Veggie Cast, everybody.
Nice.
Mando, what's your veggie?
Jicama.
Well, yeah, because it's
I'm
brown
so
on the
confused by
jicama. I love jicama. Jicama's so good.
Welcome to the worst
it's
fucking
crunchy, juicy,
Avengers
but there's
ever.
no
Wait, I want to
flavor.
know what Amanda actually thinks her.
Sweet.
She's kind of bland.
Aw, that's mean. No, wait, what did you say?
Oh, I agreed with Hikama, but
Oh, yes.
I do like Brussels sprouts.
Not the bland part.
Yeah.
Dude, Brussels. Did I tell you guys about Brussels
So you
sprouts?
make other people smell?
She didn't say.
Amanda's collard greens.
It's better than asparagus
Kinda.
because then she'd make other people's pee smell.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of asparagus.
Dude.
I guess I was supposed to pick collard greens though because I'm black.
Yeah, that was the joke.
No, yeah.
We put the collard greens in the quiche soup.
I'm glad somebody else said that and not me.
Well, that's why we waited, you know?
You do it.
None of that
She's
would
a
have, but
yam.
you know.
Wait, if we're going with... Well, no, I guess eggplant is in Filipino cuisine. Okay, I stand with my idea.
Yeah, you would be a yam.
To be
Me?
perfectly honest,
I'm an ube!
Yeah.
I was
Nice.
gonna say, to be perfectly honest, I'm probably a potato.
Did I ever tell you guys about? I saw Brussels sprouts like on the stem, and there's a metal fucking looking
Yeah.
sprout. I was like, look at
Yep.
these spikes and shit. I'm like, it looks like a weapon.
Yeah.
Nice. It's got
Who
flavor.
saw that and was like, I should try to eat those?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're a
Brussels
genetically
leaves.
engineered kind of cabbage, so we made them that way.
And I approve of
If-
whoever
if
made
I'm
them that
in
way.
This.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So they're just like miniature cabbages?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
an ethnic vegetable, I am foosh.
What is foosh?
Amanda, what's the English word? Fennel. I'm a fennel
Ah, your
plant.
fennel.
I got a bulb.
Tastes
Not
like
really sure what to
licorice.
do with it.
Tastes
Some people love it. Some people are like, "Wah!" It makes good soup.
Yeah.
I'd be fennel.
There's absolutely nothing bad about ube, so...
I'm cilantro. Some people think I taste like soap.
Some people
Weird.
pick it out of their pho.
It's such a weird thing that that's just like a genetic, like, just some percentage of the population has that one thing turned on.
I like it in certain things, but if it's like not in that thing and I can pick it off, I will just.
Oh, I love cilantro.
Well, whenever we go to pho, like I would, like they'll see me pick my cilantro out and they're like, "We can not put it in there for her." I'm like, "No, because she likes it," and I'm just picking it out of my bowl, and putting it into Amanda's. Amanda fucking loves it. I don't like it. It doesn't like me.
Can't have it all.
We lost Tony.
Yeah.
What? Oh, is he in the...
Oh, where anyway.
I don't know. He just
Don't worry.
disappeared.
I always figure when
We
that
push him overboard.
I always figure when that happens, he's pooping.
We all get drunk, someone has to get thrown overboard. And then we just fish them out.
Bring me a fish. So
Back
I
to
can
the
meet
whale.
one and
Can
know
jump back on the ship.
Can we
As
just
a
get like a
fish.
barrel with some seawater in it? She just has like a fish.
it. Yeah,
Hands out.
I have a friend now.
Right. That you meditate upon.
Yeah, we just have a conversation. We get to know one another. Tell me
Turns
your
out you don't
feelings.
speak fish.
Right.
They speak in a strange dialect.
I mean, if I spoke elephant,
Yeah, but an elephant is a land animal.
that is true, and I'm a land creature.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sea creatures might have their own distinct tongue.
Yeah, the elephant was difficult. Though.
Oh,
that
no,
was
I'm
tricky.
thinking of that. You remember Maripito?
Yep.
Those little weird fish things that go...
that's right.
That's what
You
they
ever
sound
watch
like.
that anime? Like there's
Which one?
Moribito.
Maripito?
Oh, I've never seen it.
I've
It's
seen
really
that it
good.
exists. I've never watched.
It's really good. It's like a short
Oh, okay.
series, so it's easy
Oh,
to get
yeah,
into. It's like 26 episodes.
Oh, it's a full series then.
Yeah, but it's
But it only has the.
Yep.
One.
Yeah,
There's no like second season. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty,
just a full season.
and it was not cut either, right? Like it's not like we stopped making these.
Stop making these. We ran out of money.
It's pretty self-contained,
We
but
had to
like
stop
Nice.
like halfway through the season because we ran out of money and no one liked it.
It's always nice when anime have an end.
Yes.
Because some of them just don't.
yeah, there's like in that series there's like a natural like witch that's like super old
Guardian of
lady.
the Spirit.
Yeah.
English dub.
She communicates with like water spirits. At some point, basically, she has to like dip her face into a pool and like talk to them, and they look like fucking fish people, and they exactly talk like that. And just making weird like bubbly sounds.
There's a live action movie called Trail of Blood, but I don't think it's the same thing.
Yeah, I saw that on
no.
Amazon too,
Yeah.
because they keep making live action of every anime.
Is it that anime though?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, neat.
Anime. Guardian of the Spirit.
Look at that. It's on Prime. Watch it now.
Prime.
It's about a
Wow,
female
there's like
bodyguard.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's like 4 of them.
Yeah, the live action I think might be.
Yeah, well, there's like 4 live actions. There's Trail of Blood, Hunter and Hunted, Guardian of the Spirit, and Fight to the Death.
Guardian of the Spirit is the anime. The others I think are.
It's a live action.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's the story of the
actual
anime
anime.
series.
I could
The
watch
other
all of
series
these
I
now.
think are prequels.
Fancy.
It's a good one.
Like, oh my god, Brenda.
So we're having a sing along. On
Yes,
the ship.
you are.
I'm asleep, probably.
I imagine at some point Jorge comes and tries to sit next to me.
Oh yeah. No, he tries to strike conversation.
Was he really bad?
He's
at
not. He's not like overly clingy, right? Like he's obviously friendly and asking questions,
Well,
but he's not.
He's a man now. He
Yeah.
grew a beard.
He doesn't go overboard
Yeah.
with it.
Clearly, Eduardo or somebody talked to him over this, like, before you got here.
If there's any like cues that are like Jimena does not pick up on any of them.
Right. No.
She's like, you know.
Yeah. No, he's
She
still a
keeps
kid.
touching him
Oh my gosh.
just cause you're just like,
Yeah.
like, oh
They're
yeah. Each one is
kids.
like Toki Toki.
Yep. Every time. Every single time. Ernesto is still dueling Amandine while holding a wine bottle.
Oh my gosh. And then he like falls asleep and he's still doing it.
He just
Still,
tucks it
like-
behind his back, like he fences with her a couple of times and takes a back step and just takes a swig and puts the bottle behind his back again.
Gosh.
He seems to be enjoying it quite a bit. She's a little freaked out by the sword, but you know, she's being a good sport.
It happens sometimes.
I mean, it is a lethal weapon
Yes.
that could cut and or stab you.
Yep. But yeah, there's a pretty good festive mood, but after a while, it doesn't go overboard, right? Like people are like, "All right,
That's
I'm
enough.
gonna break out of this. This is
We
enough."
have reached the party limit. We must bring
Right.
the party down.
Break it up, break it up.
That's right.
There's so many more songs to sing. Tomorrow!
That's right.
It's bedtime.
I have plenty of time to sing these songs. The night crew takes over. You see that the helmsman went below to take a nap for a bit, and now she's back up. Jorge basically is like, I worked the first part of the night shift, so I gotta go. But we'll do this again.
Soon, my love.
Okay.
And he climbs up the rigging.
Soon, mi amore.
He's a lithe little man.
Well, that's fun.
He's just scampering up the rigging all the way up to the crow's nest and goes take his post in there. Very responsibly leaves the bottle behind instead of taking it with him.
Oh, so responsible.
I know.
But hey, is a good boy.
He's a seat. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm sure if
Yeah. Zhenya gives hugs to Evine if she can see her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless
Them.
Evine has disappeared again.
No.
Evine is still there.
She knows the
And hugs for Ricardo, and I have to go back to. What did I?
Veronica?
No, I gave her like a proper Russian nickname.
Oh yeah.
Vanushka.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to go back to my Vanushka and tell her all about the day.
So people are basically going to hunker down. Marlena, you in the
Oh, she's already long gone.
quarters.
Yeah.
Miroslav actually came down to bed at some point.
Well, I mean, she might have noticed I was real hurt, but who knows?
She didn't say much more than like good night, and then just hunkered in. Periodically, like you hear a little short from her bed, and that's it. She's fast asleep. All right. Any other action you wanted to take for this for today? We'll
No action occurred.
Yeah.
We'll do a little narrative skip, and then I'll introduce your next situation. I know it's getting late for Amanda. So basically, you keep this pace and this rhythm for a few days. First week basically goes on like this, where you start to get used to your jobs on the ship. Rethold, you get placed like on different days with some different people. Like one day you work with Connie. One day you're up top with Amelia, the helmsman, who has been all over the fucking place. So she has like a lot of great stories, and you get to talk about like shipping lines with her, and she's like, "Yeah, I wouldn't go that route. Like here's the best way to approach this." So yeah, you get to drift a little bit around. Marilena, you're getting in pretty deep with Ibrahim's crew at this point.
There's a bat. My tea leaves.
That does
Oh.
kind of look like that.
Oh, this is off the ground.
Yeah. Oh yeah, huh? See the wing.
It's the grim dark.
Yes.
Grim Dark. Always present.
Some,
No, that's
some,
okay. You want that.
some emo boy who tries too hard gonna come into your life.
Oh wow.
That's
Great.
right.
Make him feel like shit too.
He wields a sword that's twice his size. Genevieve, you get in pretty well with the ship's surgeon.
Nice.
She's telling you like all sorts of crazy stories from her homeland, which are always delightful.
New favorite people? Submersions.
But she's also like talking about your sister, and you know, like she's basically bringing up to you like we should exercise her like periodically because she's
Some holy
sleeping.
water,
I
you know.
don't know
She's
what
like,
your
sometimes
religion is.
sometimes when we're out at sea, like people get sick or they get injured, they get in bed too long, and then
When the other religion came into Usurta, they started exercising people like me. I don't like this idea.
No. I don't think you don't understand me.
No.
We need to get her moving.
Oh.
Exercising.
So she doesn't
not
get-
exorcising.
So she doesn't get hurt from lying in bed too much.
I mean, she doesn't. How
No, that's exactly how you take her out.
That's right.
should they put her on strings?
She's like, grab your side, and then you know, like she's basically like going you through the motions and
Weekend at
I was about to
Bernie's.
say,
Yeah.
we're gonna Bernie's her
get
around.
Bernie's. You go up
Around
My
there
little sister.
with your sister.
her
Me
some
and Magnus
sun
are
and
still
fresh
there.
air.
Yep, in the same spot. We're looking over. And I'm like, oh, we're out for our stroll today.
Yep. There's like
That's new.
We are
there's like 3 rows of
exercising.
circles of bottles around them.
I thought the exercising was when you do the water
See,
with the...
I told her that too, but she says this is different.
It's with an E, not an O.
Which E and which O?
What are E's and O's?
This is fucking the button just
I don't have to-
Can't read.
Yeah.
What are these?
It is the song from the Avalon. It Old MacDonald had a farm. E-O-E-O-E.
Oh.
Oh.
I think that's Krampus.
No, that is drinking song from, and I point over at Connie, from Dareland.
Fucking Tarzan.
Oh,
That's what you say.
Okay.
I get it now.
So do any storms happen? Are there any kraken? Are there ships?
No kraken.
Did anyone give me a fish?
No storms. Yes, you have a fish in the barrel.
song. E-O,
Don't talk to the
E-O.
Connie fished it
Oh.
and named him Roger. It's your fish now.
Hot Roger.
Yep.
That's hard for me to say with the fish.
Well, in their language, it's Rogelio.
What?
Language.
He's just
I
vowels
pointed
now.
at the closest Castilians.
Is this true?
No.
Raul Ialio.
Wait.
Oh, he's got all this. Oh!
Where's Rogelio?
He's
Stop
stuck.
being
He's
racist.
stuck.
I don't think it's Roger.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, yeah, because Jorge is like George, and then...
Yeah.
But Roger...
I don't know.
Roje? Sorry.
Is it like a
I'm trying.
would be like a Romero
Yeah.
or?
Wow, we need to stop. Sorry, internet. We need to stop and look this up now.
So
Me and
can
Andre.
I communicate with the fish even though it's aquatic?
hair.
Yes.
Am I?
Right?
You can. It has a lot of trouble understanding you.
Yeah, I
and
bet.
you
It's all
Yeah.
anyway.
We're one speaking Greek, one speaking Latin.
Yeah, and mostly because like the way it communicates, it's like using a lot of like images, and you're like, I don't what?
I have no idea what the fuck that is.
Right? Like he's like and
What
similarly,
is seaweed?
he doesn't know like what you're telling him.
What is
like,
snow?
half the time.
Yeah. I don't know if I could be a fish. This is hard.
Well, we've got time to try.
Yeah.
You will have time to meditate on this.
Yeah.
You have stuff that you can feed your fish in a barrel, literally.
Yeah.
It's on deck, like it's just like this
Should we throw
this
you
fish
in the
just
water?
flying around, like swimming around in a little barrel.
Do you like this bear?
He probably hates it, and he probably wants to go back to his family. Yeah, the masculine Spanish given name and a very first name, Roger.
Rogelio. Okay.
Yeah.
Rogelio.
We have
Did I say Rogelio?
discovered. You
You
did.
said like Rogelio.
Oh yeah, maybe, yeah. That's
I was thinking with like a J and an I.
that's how we spelled it too. So, yeah,
Rewind the feed!
Roger, Rogelio, yeah.
Rogelio. Okay. I don't think I've actually
And there you
known
go.
anybody with that name.
Internet, our reputation is intact.
I mean, that's
because you would
according
not
to-
want this crew.
I know
to
that
be
in French it's
inaccurate.
just bullshit.
No, we are
About
never.
anything.
We're
I know
never
this source
about our
is
fantasy
good enough
hero.
for the Meg peer review, but it is whatever
Sorry,
some
did
dude
we
wrote.
encounter other ships?
On the morning of the ninth
What's
day
your name? Castillo.
that you're sailing,
Yeah.
What's Crispo?
it's an
Martinez.
overcast day. Not raining. It's just cloudy and gray.
Enough to make us frizzy.
And as you busy yourselves about to your morning tasks, like mid-morning or so, you hear a yell from the vigil that says, "2 ships ahead!"
Crespo means curly.
Aww.
Beachy Crespo.
Damn.
Curly.
Of course, that was the logical conclusion to the statement.
In English or in Spanish, just throw a fucking in front of it. It's gold. So yeah.
After a moment, you basically hear the captain be like, "All right, everybody to stations. Let's be smart about this." And you're approaching. If any of you are looking ahead, you see, in fact, 2 ships that look like roughly side by side, though they don't look like they're going in the same direction.
They're fighting.
And you actually hear the distant crackle of cannons in the distance. And then you hear from the vigil, 2 ships locked in battle. One of them is flying a Montaigne flag. I can't recognize the other.
I hop down to the gunnery. Give me a cannon.
Just
She drags it up to the
You
top.
walk with it up top.
Fucking Halo Spartan, just holding the cannon.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Metal, light me.
Nice!
Yeah, him and it's like
Just like holding the cannon, like baboom.
Fucker, she's taking Ricardo. She trusts him. Well, she trusts you, but you know what I mean.
no,
You
you're
blow things up a lot.
you're
Kinda
your own
roll.
fire team. Like
Yep.
you
Like,
hold
more
heat
Any
guns,
of you
and she
who
ignites.
would
It's
like, you can roll a wits plus notice to try to get more insight.
And the 2 of them can reload because you don't move anywhere. So as soon as the cannon leaves, as soon as the ball leaves, they can. Oh, we're doing things. What's plus notice? What?
Yep. If you're trying to gather anything else about the current situation.
I put dots in notice recently.
10.
I got. Yes.
Oh, I botched.
Ooh, I
Good thing we're
got
not playing that
4.
4?
Yeah.
1, 2. Okay. Rethold also sees ships locked in battle.
3.
2.
2?
Yeah.
Got 7.
Wait for it.
You got 7? Dang.
Nice.
Only 3. I don't have much.
I
notice.
thought I
Or
was
wits.
doing real good.
How much did you have, Evie?
I'm still adding because my phone is now across the room, so I don't.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
She got earbuds in.
I'm busy worried about Josefina.
Yeah.
Because, like, even you got better successes than I did on that one.
She spent all of last evening getting run at by Ernesto
I heard.
brandishing a sword.
I guess I
And
have
a
fair
wine
wits
bottle,
in
yeah.
notice. I have 3 points in each, but
Yeah.
it's really not
Sometimes.
my deal.
Not this many.
Oh.
Like I said, I recently put points into it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't need to notice things. It's pretty
Oh, so 7.
pretty
Oh, so
apparent when I
7?
need to punch or when I don't.
Okay.
I just upped my weaponry and my athletics.
With
Mine's actually
4,
raised my wits, so.
those of you 4 and above, from where you're standing, I mean, they're still far enough at this point that it's pretty hard to gather details. 4 and above, that battle is fairly one-sided. Whatever is happening to the non-Montaigne ship, they're not putting up much of a resistance. It looks like they're right about to get boarded. Evine and Marilena, you see 2 flags on the Montaigne ship. One of them is just the flag of the country. The other one, you see it, Marilena, but you don't recognize it. Evine, you know because of your initial mission to Castille. This is one of the private coalitions that are serving l'Empereur. They're basically privateers, serving the Emperor's business interests.
Hey, I have a lot of
Unfortunately-
scholarships, so I think I could potentially roll to know that too.
Sure.
Actually, yeah, considering your
I have no scholarship.
They are primarily rumored to be dealing in human cargo.
Oh no.
More traffickers. Why?
Should we be sinking the Montaigne or the assholes?
No, the Montaigne ship
Montaigne
are
are
the
the
ones.
Oh,
assholes.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
double good.
Yes.
double good for you.
Sure.
The other ship is not flying any banner that you can recognize. Either they're a completely civilian ship, or they're pirates, or they have no colors to speak of.
Well, I pretty much say to whoever looks important enough to say it to that we need to hurry the heck up because that other ship is going down, and the Montaigne ship is definitely one that carries human cargo.
You say that out loud.
Mm-hmm.
You almost jump into your boots as you finish your sentence, and you hear, like, directly behind you, Magnus's voice, like, just booms into your ear. He's like, "To your stations, get the ship running! We have a ship to sink!"
Yeah!
And...
Well, I've
Now
never
I'm-
been on a boarding party
Now I'm
before.
debating going under with the cannons or going out on my own.
boarding party.
I
We
mean,
can just shoot you
I don't-
onto the ship.
I can fly myself over the other
Right,
ship.
that's right. You can't do
I
that.
have wings. I can.
I just want to like trebuchet over to the other ship.
The captain also starts barking orders. The sails are unfurled, and that ship...
I was sort of nudging. If Jose wasn't in the right spot and Josefina wasn't in the right spot, I was like, get to those pins.
Oh, yeah.
Grab that line. We're about
Jose,
to start.
you have to nudge Josefina a little bit, because she's like, oh my god, like, this is real. This is happening now. Jose, at this point, after a week of drill, he's following his instructor.
He does have a background. He's good. No.
Like it fucking glue. And he's like, you can see that even the kids have stopped yelling at him as much, because he's like,
there's not as much to yell at him about.
the
Damn.
fucker is like stoic. Like he's even like either he's just swallowing back his vomit. I can't catch him doing it. Like either he got better at this or he's more sneaky. I don't care which.
Either way. Oh boy.
I go to the helmsman and I give a 6 dice plus.
All right. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really do it with any sort of introduction. It's just like, oh hey kids, stands back.
She sort of looks at you like,
For luck.
and sort of sighs you up and down. And it's like, well, we always need that.
Kiss the world!
It's like, I'll never say no.
Okay.
Oh shit!
It's
All
like,
right.
I wasn't the one complaining about a husband earlier, but alright.
And the ship just banks like hard. Whatever she's seeing at this point, it's like she can read the fucking currents, and that ship is like going for it. And you hear the captain say, "The hull is reinforced. Ram them."
Yeah.
On the fucking front bow of the
I
ship.
look,
Let's go!
I look longingly over at Magnus. I'm like, you
begin.
beautiful fucker. Whose
Magnus-
idea was that?
Magnus is just like,
Oh.
I always much prefer melee.
and with that, we will close for tonight. So Amanda can go to bed.
Amanda, you're not tired. We can fight.
Next session,
I'm tired.
we're
I'm all rolled up now.
we're having some ship battles.
Yay!
So exciting.
Between this moment and the next minute in game, Rethel will Hulk out a little more. How much XP do we get?
You all of y'all 3 for the next session.
Yay.
Rethel flexes and a vest shatters over him, even though he was shirtless.
Yeah.
Just a moment ago. More clothes have just
Suddenly,
ripped off.
Like a shirt explodes out.
Well, yeah, it's one of those weird like video game respawn where it's like the shirt just recoalesces and then it explodes.
It's like fucking Fist of the North Star, and the leather jacket just disintegrates upon his bare chest.
Oh.
And you're like, what the fuck? Didn't he just rip that last time? Where'd that one
You
come
weren't
from?
wearing clothes. Is this like the eye? It's come back.
There we go. It will haunt
It
you.
must be a submission shirt.
Say goodnight, Internet.
Good night, Internet.
Imagine magical Sarmatian shirt.
Sarmatian shirt.
Yes!
I hear tell.
Screaming snakes.
Right. These shirts
Sarmatian shirts. Oh.
that just rip upon a man's back and then return.